From the Smith Radio Studios, it's Carrie and Brian Smith.
Trying to make this thing happen,
is
folks.
Smith Radio.
Wow.
You can tweet at Smith Radio, SMYTH Radio. And now, your host, Carrie and Brian Smith.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Smith Radio, Military Veteran Talk Radio. Your host, Brian Smith and
Carrie Smith.
Giving you all the late-breaking news of the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where they like to hide the nuggets and tidbits of information, wrapping up the past week's breaking news, giving it to you without any fake news. See, we'll show you the fake news, we'll expose it, and we'll rip it apart and tell you who to listen to, who not to listen to. This week, nothing happened. Once again, nothing happened all week. No, I'm lying. I'm lying. No, this was, and I know we say this often, and I can't help but say it again, folks. There's so much information that's come out this week. So much stuff that I know you're gonna get mad, get frustrated. Why did you talk about this? Why did you talk about that? How about the naked gunman that was shooting the people up at Waffle House? I ain't got time for that.
Yeah, naked waffle man probably gonna be on the back burner. Maybe we'll. I don't know.
He was on the radar of the local police department, naked running down a White House lawn or something. I don't know, folks. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Did you say Breitbart said that the Democrats doubling down on Russian collusion?
That was one of their headlines. The headline was, they're doubling down. Guys, where have you been? Guys at Breitbart, editors, whoever is responsible. Doubling down. They did that years ago. Years ago, they doubled down. Then they tripled down, then quadrupled and quintupled and sextupled and septupled and octupled. You know what it reminds me of? Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Man, why wouldn't that movie ever end?
Well, if you enjoyed that as a child, just keep that enjoyment. Don't
ruin it for yourself.
Don't revisit it. It's as bad as I'm trying not to let you know that whatever. So in that movie, they have to play a game against the Grim Reaper to go back and not be dead.
Right.
And they get to name their game, and they beat the Grim Reaper.
Spoiler alert.
And the Grim Reaper gets upset and says, let's do the best out of 3. Yeah. So they play another game. And they beat the Grim Reaper again, and he said, all right, best out of 5. And then they do best out of 7 and best out of 9, and it gets out of control. And that's what this reminds me of. I feel like the Democrats are like, all right, best out of 13.
we are gonna win one day.
They're like 0-6, and they're playing for best out of 13. They need 7 in a row just to get back. And
this might be 0-7. They might. This might be all it, folks. So we've got a lot of great information that we're going to tell you about having to do with Comey. Got some great clips. I even got a clip of Mark Dice talking about Comey. Pretty hysterical. There'll probably be some clips I won't get to. There's so much in the stack of stuff. But start off with good news. Donald Trump approval rating 51%.
Awesome.
Doing really good.
Not surprised, but I was always surprised when they kept saying that he only has 36% approval rating or 39% or 40%. I was thinking something smells a little fake about that. How do people go out, elect a guy with all these hopes of him being a great president, and then he delivers, and then all of a sudden, do you got the Starbucks commercial? We have a new Starbucks commercial. Oh, you gonna play it?
I did whatever you want me to.
Oh, I didn't know we were going. I thought we were gonna have a segment on the Starbucks.
We will have a segment on Starbucks.
Well, do you want to summarize what we're going to talk about for the show, and then we'll get to this?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we got that. Starbucks is going to be discussed today. I'm glad you brought it. That's a good one.
Starbucks, a little bit on Stormy Daniels, not too much. Just update on how bad it is and her lawyer and who he is, which will connect all the dots to why. Because the polls show that absolutely nobody cares about Stormy Daniels.
Evangelicals are like
90% all the way. Democrats, 51% of Democrats say this is just awful. Stop doing it.
It reminds me of the Monica Lewinsky thing when they were really hammering down on Bill Clinton at one point, and I'll never forget this because, and I think I discussed this on a previous show, I remember being in the chow hall because that was the only place where I would ever be caught watching news back then. I didn't really care. I was in my early 20s. I was practically a teenager. And in the chow hall, they had, I don't know, CNN or whatever they had on. And they were talking about how he's got like a 90% approval rating.
It went through the roof.
It was totally,
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. But it was a learning, it was something to learn from. Like, it seems like when you go too far, you could upset the entire electorate, and that's what happened with the Bill Clinton thing, and now it seems like that's what's happening with Trump.
Kind of like the movie Tommy Boy with Chris Farley in it. Towards the middle towards the end of the movie, Chris Farley and old boy, they're sitting in a diner.
David Spade.
Yeah, Spade. They're sitting at a diner and they're just talking and they can't figure it out. Why can I do this right? And the waitress comes over and he's like, "Can I have breakfast?" She's like, "No, sorry. It just ended 5 minutes ago." And he's like, "Are you going to take that?" And Chris Farley takes like a doll or a piece of dough and he's like, "It's my little rabbit."
It was a roll or something.
Oh, yeah.
It was a roll.
And I smash it and I crush it and I love on it. And all of a sudden I just killed my little rabbit.
Which is kind of a tribute to Of Mice and Men.
Yes.
A lot of people on it. Like when I was a kid, we watched Bugs Bunny.
Oh, that was my babysitter.
And they had that big ogre, George.
Yeah,
whatever.
George.
And he wanted to pet the rabbit. I want to pet the rabbit. I never knew until I was in school and required reading Of Mice and Men that was what that was all about. But anyway.
So that's what the Democrats are actually doing with Russian collusion. They will not stop with it until
it's their little rabbit that they're petting.
Yes.
I went to pet it. I went to pet the and then there's the Stormy Daniels. That's another rabbit. They're just killing all the rabbits.
I'm sorry, Stormy Daniels. I'm slipping.
Oh, yeah. Stormy
Daniels. They're going to crush it like the little rabbit. The Russian collusion. They're going to crush it like the little rabbit. All of these things.
I think they're suffering from some weird delusions. They're like imagining things that aren't true. They think that somehow the Republicans won against Clinton by impeaching him, which he was impeached by the House, but then he was acquitted by the Senate. At the end of the day, if you look at his approval ratings while he was president, the fact that they didn't remove him from office, and the fact that he had become this legendary hero in the eyes of
lefties.
Lefties from there on out. Republicans didn't actually win against Clinton when it comes to that. But for some reason, they must believe that we did. And that's where the MoveOn.org comes from. A lot of people don't know this.
Right.
MoveOn.org, which is started by and run and funded by George Soros. It's talking about, MoveOn is talking about how, hey, let's stop talking about these extramarital affairs in the White House and all that and lying to Congress. Let's forget about that. Let's move on. Move on. And so they started MoveOn.org, which we all know what they do now, but that's where that got started from. And it's become this it's weird. It's ironic. They're talking about let's move on, but it actually serves as the revenge, the central meeting ground for people that want revenge. And I feel like this Stormy Daniels thing is a way to finally get revenge on Republicans for what they did to Clinton with the by the way, Clinton did that. Clinton
did do that.
Clinton did it.
Serial rapist.
But what do people who have the victim mentality do? It's always the other guy's fault. This would have been nothing if you guys didn't point out that it happened. I don't know. So that's kind of what's going on with the Stormy Daniels.
My thought is that they're trying to paint this picture, this facade, this imaginary boogeyman. They're trying to create this thing that if they gain power of the House or the Senate or whatever, this will justify them to move forward with impeachment.
Okay, yeah. So that's why this is parallel to the Monica Lewinsky thing.
Identical.
In their mind.
Right.
What we're telling you, or I don't know about Brian, but I won't talk for him, but I'll talk for myself. This is absolutely nothing like the Monica Lewinsky thing because there's two things at play here. Number one, and the biggest one is is that he was impeached because he broke the law. What are we talking about? High crimes and misdemeanors. That is what the threshold for impeachment is. I know everybody's probably screaming at their screen right now saying, Gary, it's not a criminal thing. It's a political thing. You can impeach for any reason. But as Rush Limbaugh pointed out, you can
indict for any reason.
Well, you can impeach for any reason too, because it's just up to a certain number of the House of Representatives. If they say we're impeaching, we're impeaching. Now, it does say it's supposed to be for high crimes and misdemeanors, but as Rush Limbaugh finally acknowledged, I pointed this out a long time ago, but I'll give Rush some credit for actually acknowledging this. And that is that, yeah, sure, it's political, which is why each of these House members are dead meat politically if they try to impeach a president without having high crimes and misdemeanors. They are in big, big trouble. We're going to talk about a constitutional crisis, pitchforks, people marching in the streets, torches, whatever.
I've talked to conservative that would never, that aren't violent whatsoever, that never would ever, I would ever imagine that they would take to the streets, that have told me they would.
Yeah, let me tell you something. When it comes to people who believe in law and order, for them to just impeach President Trump without having any high crimes or misdemeanors, they're going to know. They're going to be like, wait a minute. Impeachment's supposed to be for high crimes and misdemeanors, which in Bill Clinton's case, everybody knew you do not lie under oath to Congress. So everybody knew that there was a high crime here. Definitely a high crime.
I mean, Congress can lie to you, but you can't lie to them.
Right, and that's
another story for another day. So we're going to get into that. We're going to wrap that up, folks, about this whole thing. The Cohen-Hannity raid, the Cohen raid, producing Hannity's name. We got something to the south of us. Folks, we have socialist, communist examples all over the world. We now have one rising up south of our border, a communist regime rising up. So we'll be talking about that. Venezuela makes big moves this week to continue the absolute and utter destruction of their economy. Just everything they do, every decision Maduro makes, every decision Maduro makes wreaks havoc. It causes more and more problems.
I was thinking Menudo, which was a band back in the late 80s.
Menudo.
Menudo. Yeah. Google that.
Right. And then we got Democrats coming out, folks. The 2018 race is coming up. It's right here. It's right upon us. 2018. Right. You've got to stay plugged into your local area, where you're voting at, what's going on. Please stay plugged in. We've got a lot of great information. A lot of people are coming, a lot of new folks getting registered, which is huge, really, really good. But we've got the Democrats that are going absolutely bonkers. What are they running on, Kerry?
Impeach Trump.
What's the second thing they're running on?
They have something else besides that? Tax cuts.
Repeal and replace.
Tax cuts.
Yes. Repeal and replace. And they're going off the mantra of Obamacare, repeal and replace.
That is not going to work.
It's a huge story. Nancy Pelosi coming out screaming about it, so we'll talk about that. The multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Donald Trump and his campaign. What does that mean?
That was the big news at the end of the week this week. So yeah,
there is implications everywhere, and there's a meaning for it. There's a reason why they're doing this. We'll fill you in on all the details. Obama made the news this week. Huge splash. Yeah, he's in it. All of this, he's implicated. Barack Hussein Obama.
Will he go to prison?
Stay tuned to coming up. And then we're also going to talk about the criminal referral for McCabe to federal prosecutors. We're also going to talk about how McCabe, Clinton, Lynch, Comey, Strzok, Page, and a couple other folks you may never have heard of, all being referred for criminal prosecution. This is, it's coming down. Hey, did you hear about the one story you might not have heard of? Did you hear that? What was it? Hillary Clinton. She's got another scandal.
She did?
Yeah, there's another scandal. Well,
I don't even pay attention to her anymore.
apparently, it's come to light. Back during the campaign, Hillary Clinton's camp raised $84 million, but it was like one big check from one single donor.
Isn't that
illegal? You go to jail.
Okay.
Dinesh D'Souza went to jail for $30,000.
Oh, right. I thought it was less than 30. Oh, that's right. It was 10,000 times 3.
Right.
Okay.
And so she's looking at $84 million. So what she did is that they took the $84 million, funneled it to the DNC. The DNC then funneled it to all their chapters throughout the entire nation. And usually on the very same day they received it, they sent it to Hillary.
That's textbook.
The same day.
That's textbook money laundering.
Right.
Textbook.
Some days it would be within 24 hours, but it was usually always same day funneled back to Hillary. So there's a super PAC that it was filing FEC complaints, multiple complaints left and right, and the FEC is supposed to look into every single complaint and follow through with it, and they didn't do any of that. So now the FEC is being sued. They're being sued in federal court for not doing their job.
Good. Good. This kind of stuff needs to happen more often. More quickly, too.
Yeah, and folks, that's another thing. I know people want things to move at the speed of light. Everybody wants it now, now, now. We live in a speed of light kind of world.
It's too slow, people. In my opinion, I know everybody out there. It's like there's two camps, but come on. At some point, the camp of it's coming, TikTok, it's coming. You got to be patient. This stuff takes time. At some point, you got to say, "Oh, come on, this can't take this long."
Take it easy. The dough is rising.
Oh, the dough is coming out of the bowl and it's all over the table. Unbelievable.
I don't know what else to say other than, folks, they're feverishly working in the background. There's a lot of information that we don't know about, that they do know about. We're going to get into the interview with Devin Nunez that was on Maria Bartoromo on Fox Business News this morning. This is going to turn some heads and really shake up some folks. If the Clinton campaign and anybody connected to her whatsoever is not scared,
they got to be. Well, the referrals have got to make them realize. Like they had to have been worried for a long time. In fact, this is why they were fighting so hard to win the presidency. This needed to happen.
We knew that if we didn't win, we'd be dead. They knew if they didn't win, they'd be dead.
Or in jail.
Yeah.
In jail.
When I mean dead in the water.
Oh, okay.
Dead in the water. No more. There would have never been another Republican president ever elected.
Yeah, this was a big fork in the road. This last 2016 election was a huge fork in the road. Do we either save America and send to prison the people who have been breaking all kinds of laws at the highest levels, or do we lose America and criminals run the country? That's really what it boiled down to.
Open borders, no religion.
Well, no laws.
Imagine, no laws.
Well, and we saw this in the Soviet Union and probably a lot of places these days. If you're at the high levels of the government, you're a government worker, you make all the laws and you enforce all the laws, but you're not a part of having to be subject to those laws.
Well, we can look at two countries right to the south of us, Mexico and Venezuela.
Yeah, I mean,
that's exactly what's going on right now.
And that was the thing with the monarchies back in the day. The monarchs were not subject to their laws. Whatever they thought of, whatever they wrote down, whatever they said it's like your mom, do as I said, not as I do. She tells you what the rules are, but if she breaks them, she's the mom. And that's exactly how
you raise a bad child that way, by the way. I'm just letting everybody know. Right. If you say that to your kids, that's not good. Don't
parenting tips for you. That was the parenting tip moment.
And
for
don't
Smith Radio.
ever tell your kid. Did you tell me this? Don't ever tell your child because I said so.
Oh, that's a lazy way out. I think I may have told you that, and if you are telling your child something and he questioned you or she questioned you and you have to resort to because I said so, you probably didn't think this through very well.
Like my kids wanting to drink orange juice at 9 o'clock at night before they go to bed. I said, no, you can't do that. I said, why not? It's too much sugar. You're going to stay up all night.
Oh, sure. See, my mom, she would say
So I
orange
said
juice.
so.
My mom says orange juice calms you down. It's got
well,
special chemicals in it.
Well, it does when you guys are all hopped up on Mountain Dew.
Well, she might have actually put a little,
Oh, no.
little vodka in it. No, I don't know. My mom didn't ever do that.
You guys were the kids that always had soda pop.
That's how we hydrated.
We never were allowed to
It
have
was,
soda.
It was back in the day when you had to get the glass bottles, and when you were done with them, you took the empty bottles back to the grocery store or wherever, and you get 10 cents for each of those bottles.
So my parents would buy
That's how old I am.
Diet. They would drink Diet Right. The kids don't like that kind of stuff.
No, because kids' palate knows about poison. You can't put poison in your body.
Diet Fanta.
Anything diet is poison.
Oh, man,
It's
right.
poison.
It's poison. So anyways, let's get it back on track. So we're talking about Starbucks. What happened at Starbucks, Carrie?
Oh, boy. You know, I've got to thank Paul Joseph Watson. I think that's who it was, right? Oh, no, it was Mark Dice.
Big
Sorry.
old Dice. Big
Mark
Dice. Dice in the house.
I get my wires crossed. No, it was Mark Dice who cleared up a lot of stuff. I wasn't following it any closer than just hearing the reports. And suddenly Mark Dice has a video come out and explains the whole thing. I thought it was great. Basically what happened was, go back to the beginning, there were two black gentlemen who were at the Starbucks. And I can only speculate what really was going on with these two black gentlemen. There's two of them, right?
Yeah, in Philadelphia.
In Philadelphia. And there's a lot of things that could be at play here. And trust me, I have the experience, the real world experience to let you know that there's more possibilities than what is being said. So they were asked to leave when they wanted to use or one of them wanted to use the restroom. They had not purchased anything.
No.
The bathrooms are supposed to be for patrons only, which means you have to purchase something.
Now in big cities, that's a big, big thing.
Well, I was going to say, we need to definitely talk to Brian about this because he informed me of things when he lived in L.A. that shocked me.
I was shocked at myself.
Tell me about your experience with walking into your average Subway, let's say, just for example.
Right. If you walk into Subway to get a Subway sandwich.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you
get the big drink and you're sucking down soda.
Right,
and
you're
eating.
Well, not only that, but we were working in construction all day, so we're dirty.
Okay.
Just want to wash my hands a little bit.
Oh, right.
Before I eat a sandwich.
Yeah, I mean, well, hold on. Do they have dining tables?
Yes.
So it's understood that when you go there to eat, you're going to eat there.
Right.
Okay, so you're dirty from working, and so you're going to get Subway where you grab the sandwich with your bare hand and you eat it.
You go all the way to the back of the restaurant looking for the restrooms to wash up, and there are none.
There's no restrooms?
None.
There's not even a door for it?
No.
That says out of order or anything?
No. None.
Or patrons only?
No.
So apparently, and you said this is actually common. This isn't just one Subway. It's like most fast food
every
places.
single Subway I'd ever been to. I stopped eating Subway out in L.A. And most small little outfits that are, I mean, where you're just getting sandwiches. Like this was big.
What about like a McDonald's?
Quiznos was big back then.
Okay.
And Quiznos, no bathroom. McDonald's may have one.
Okay.
But there will be a key, and it will be locked.
I notice we have a thing here in Cincinnati called UDF, which is United Dairy Farmers, and they're just like gas stations. They're real nice, and they actually do have dairy products and all that kind of stuff.
Ice cream, hand dipped ice cream.
Yeah. If that UDF is in a bad part of town, it will have a key that you're supposed to ask the attendant to get the key. If it's in a nice part of town, it's not going to. You just walk right into the bathroom. So it definitely is location specific.
Right, and L.A. definitely huge with
can't
no
believe
bathroom, literally no bathrooms. And I would ask them, I said, well, where do you go to the bathroom at? We're back in the back. I said, well, let me use that one to wash it. Nah, man, against law. Law don't go around here, law dog.
So
I said, what?
So you're saying you came up with a policy like if they don't have a bathroom, I'm not even patronizing them
Nope,
anymore.
I wouldn't even patronize them.
Good for you,
at all.
That's ridiculous. So these two gentlemen,
Philadelphia, big city,
happen to be black, were essentially loitering.
Yeah.
But the thing, I totally get it. You get maybe a white guy in there who's sitting, playing on his computer, whatever. Maybe he doesn't get bothered. I do realize that there is some biases in people. A lot of people have some biases. You know, you see a black person or a white person, two exact situations, maybe treated differently. I've heard from black people that when they see a black person walking down the street on their side, they'll cross the street. So there's biases on both sides against black people. You don't have to be white to be biased against black. It's really weird. So that phenomenon is in existence. But they were claiming that they were waiting for a friend. This friend or friends have not been produced.
No.
I'm just giving you the facts. So it's very possible that there was a lot of lying going on here. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe they were waiting for a friend, but no friend has come forward and said, yeah, I was running a little late. I was going to show up, and we were all going to loiter together.
Yeah,
That's another thing. Were they waiting on a friend who was going to make a purchase? Or were they going to make a purchase once the friend came? Or were they just all going to loiter? I mean, there's a lot of variables here.
And the thing, too, the Starbucks out in L.A. or Long Beach or some of the nicer, even in the nice areas, still, you got to watch stuff. But people would go into the Starbucks, would sit down, and they might be there for hours.
Yeah, I've done that. I've actually gone into just a regular fast food place where I have an hour and a half to burn. And, well, if it's a place that you have to leave a tip, like Skyline, you have to leave a tip if you're in there. I'll leave like double what I normally would leave because I was in there for double the time. You're actually taking up a seat that they could be serving somebody else while you're sitting there. But anyway, so these guys were asked to leave, and when they said, no, we're not leaving, a cop was called. The cop came in and basically said, please leave. And it's my understanding that they were trying to do this peacefully, but of course they did not want to leave at all and said, come on, man, I don't want to arrest you, but if you don't leave, I'm going to have to arrest you. And arrest me then. And they got arrested. It turned into this big thing.
Big old melee.
I don't know if it was a melee.
No, it wasn't a melee. No.
But he got arrested, apparently relatively peacefully, but it turned into a big scandal. And Starbucks did not treat this thing very smartly. Well,
they went and they said that everybody can have free Starbucks coffee, free cups.
No, that didn't happen at all.
Yeah, there was a code sent out on the social media. If you use this code, produce it at Starbucks, you'll get a free cup of coffee.
Yeah, it turns out that, well.
There was a guy.
Yeah, so you have a video.
Yeah, Laura Ingraham.
Okay.
Has I was going to play the guy's video, but it's best she interviewed him. It's
good.
It's only like a couple minutes long, but here's the thing. This black guy, just to give you a heads up, he goes to troll Starbucks. Totally trolls them.
He goes in, black man goes in. This is after the whole thing, after the fact, the big thing blew up because of the gentlemen that were arrested.
And he is a conservative black.
You weren't supposed to
what?
Yeah, you were supposed to.
Oh, she's going to open it up as soon as she opens up to it.
Well, we didn't know that at first.
No, nobody knew that.
Before you go too far, you got ahead of me on this one. No. When this guy went in there, he acted like your average, I want to say like a victocrat.
Yeah,
like a victocrat.
Yep.
And he said, I heard y'all were racist, and I heard you guys were giving out free coffee to victims of this racism or whatever, so I want my free coffee and all this stuff. This video went viral before he announced to the world that he was actually a conservative, making fun of the fact that this actually worked.
So everybody who thought or sympathized with him,
they were loving it.
They got triggered because they didn't realize.
They thought he was on their side. It turns out he was making a big mockery. And so Laura Ingraham decided, let's interview this guy.
Yes, let's interview him.
Angle, I told you about someone who wanted to see just how far Starbucks liberal guilt would go. His video has gone completely viral, so we asked comedian provocateur Brian Sharp to join us this evening, and there he is. Hey, Brian, how are you?
Hey, Laura, how are you?
You totally fooled me, okay, because I played this on my radio show this morning. My producers and I were screaming. We're like, this sounds, if I didn't know better, it sounds like, you sound like Chris Rock. It's so funny.
Is she allowed to say that?
No, you're not allowed to say that.
Thank you.
And that poor girl in Starbucks is ready to turn over the keys to the shop to you. She was so worried. But tell me why you did what you did by asking for reparations going into that Starbucks and saying, I want my free coffee for what you did basically in Philly. She said, oh, okay, I'm giving you the coffee. Why did you do this?
I am sick and tired of liberals using black people and making us look like victims, making us look soft with their liberal dogma. It is disgusting. The other thing I hate about liberals is if you're a black man, as I am, in America, they will not hand you a microphone unless you follow the liberal narrative. And I said, you know what? I bet if I go into Starbucks and I follow a liberal narrative, I'll make the news. And voila, here I am.
On the Laura Ingraham show.
Performance art. Now, when you talked to her, when you went in there and you had it on the cell phone, the young woman says, well, yeah, I think I saw that on Twitter. Like, she actually thought there was something on Twitter that anytime a black person came into Starbucks, you just had to hand them a coffee. And we're wondering, why did you just go for the coffee? Why didn't you go for, like, the entire, blender to make those fancy smoothie drinks? I mean, you just went for the regular coffee. You should have really upped the ante there.
She went straight for the venti. I have to give Amanda props. She went for the venti. I got a large. She gave me milk. I should have asked for almond milk. And she did give me caramel with the sugar in it. So,
are you getting grief? Are you getting grief for this from friends? Grief for this from friends, liberals, saying, how dare you do this? This is a serious issue, and now you're making light of it. How dare you?
Like I said in my book on booksbybrian.com, you're going to get enemies. And you have to learn how to use them. I have a chapter in my book that talks about how to use enemies, and I know how to use them. So I embrace the hate. I embrace it because it gets balanced out with love. But all the people that hate, they're just brainwashed by liberals.
True.
That's all it is. They're afraid to think for themselves.
We have a longer clip. Brian, hold on, because we have a longer clip, because people who somehow missed the top of the show.
Okay.
I want to play the longer clip if we can.
Bring that back.
Can we? Yeah.
No,
can we play the original clip just again one more time? Because I'm sorry, it's screamingly funny. I want to play it one more time. Let's watch.
She doesn't have a clip.
Okay, just 1 second. Anyway, so you go into the Starbucks. Did you pick the Starbucks for a reason or just any random Starbucks?
I happened to just be there. The idea was already in my mind. I just happened to be there. I was with my family, as you saw my son in the video, and I was like, oh my God, a Starbucks. And
you just did this off the top of your head.
Off the top of my head.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh my gosh. I thought you planned it out. Here we go.
Get my free coffee. Y'all ready?
Are you ready?
Yeah, we're saying.
Y'all ready?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, we thought this was planned out and scripted, Brian. Great stuff. Thank you so much. We may, by the way, be hearing the first rumblings of a...
All right.
Okay.
I didn't realize she ended it that abruptly. Anyway, so he goes in there. I saw the whole thing. And it's not very long. It's only like 3 minutes. Yeah, it's only like 3 minutes long. He goes in there and he's a little angered at first. And this young college...
He goes in there and says, I heard y'all were racist.
Yeah, I heard y'all hate black people.
That's going to send up the defensive walls right away on somebody like this Amanda woman.
The young... you say woman... She's in college. She said today's my last day. I'm going back to school.
Oh, I didn't know that. So her last.
She said.
Hey, let me tell you something about people on their last day. People who are on their last day
don't give up.
There are no rules. There are no rules. Yeah. So.
But anyway, so she got a little taken back. She was a little nervous, but her and another girl working there both said, "Yeah, give him a cup, whatever."
So what happened was, according to Mark Dice, was that people started doing this all over the country. As this is happening, and everybody knows it's been exposed that these coupons for free coffee for I don't know if it's people of color or everybody, there has been no statement by Starbucks either this is fake, or yes, it's true, you can get it. No statement whatsoever. So they had been completely paralyzed. And so people were going in and getting their free coffee. Since then, another fake letter's come out. Did you hear about this?
No.
Thank you, Mark Dice, for letting me. Apparently, an official letter that's from Starbucks and signed by the CEO.
So it has like the letterhead and everything.
Letterhead and everything. Completely fake. Some guy just made it, saying that on for a whole week, I think it was from the 21st through the 28th. It's like 7 solid days. You can go in and get anybody, white, black, Asian, whatever.
That's
Hispanic.
like today, starting today.
You can go in and get a free coffee, anybody, and 50% off of all food products. The whole thing was totally fake. And there were some other statements in there that were kind of, apologizing for their racism and all this kind of stuff. And it was hilarious because it was fake. Starbucks has not made a statement about that one either. They haven't said, hey, whoa. They're not triggered. They are paralyzed. They're all in this giant
That's
meeting.
what I'm saying. They're paralyzed by not knowing, can't handle it. They're like, we
don't
can't
say
the right.
anything.
Don't say.
I know what it is.
No.
They're in a meeting right now, and one person's offering up a suggestion, and everybody else in the whole room's like, no. And then somebody else offers up another suggestion, and everybody else in the room's like, no, you cannot do that. But what if this happens?
And then they circle up the wagons, bring in some black folk, say, okay, this is what we're thinking about. What do you think? And maybe those folks are trolling them, saying, oh man, you're going to trigger a whole race.
I think you should just not make a statement.
Don't say nothing.
Just don't say nothing. Maybe this thing will blow over.
That's how it does. It just goes away.
Oh, so apparently the Starbucks has come out with a new music video. Kind of a commercial, kind of a music video. And so this is, you got it queued up and ready?
Yeah.
So this Look at that guy.
The old man. He didn't know what to do.
Look at how he hides it.
Against that racist coffee. Either one's first, either one's a sequel. All drinks are created equal. This world's humongous. So many coffee drinks among us. Like cappuccinos, macchiatos, and my favorite Americanos.
Who cares about your whereabouts? East or west or north or south? Just shut your mouth. Now open it. You'll enjoy both. We're hoping at least.
We don't drink racist coffee. Don't drink that racist coffee. I'm racist against that racist coffee. Either one's first, either one's a sequel. All drinks are created equal.
Hey, white friend, try this.
Hey, that is pretty good. Hey, black friend, try this.
Hey, that is pretty good. Hey, white friend, try this.
Hey, that is pretty good. Hey, black friend, try this.
Hey, that is pretty good.
That's pretty good. We don't drink racist coffee. Don't drink that. Don't drink that racist coffee.
No.
They're covering it up.
Against that racist coffee. Either one's first, either one's a sequel. All drinks are created equal. Either one's first, either one's a sequel. All drinks are created equal.
That is so funny.
There's the plug for Julian Smith.
Download this.
So funny.
Oh my goodness.
That was Julian Smith. Believe it or not,
That's old.
Yo, it's like 8 years old. It's a really old song that he made. I thought it was funny when it came out, but
you shared it with me when it first came
I
out.
instantly remembered it when we're talking about racism and coffee and Starbucks. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so appropriate now.
It's got to be revisited.
Yes, and we did for sure. So that was awesome.
And that being what it is, as we transition and move to, another topic. This is what liberals do. Liberals are racist. Liberals are hateful. They got nothing new to come up with. And you know how I was saying earlier that the Democrats are running on repeal and replace the tax cuts. Nancy Pelosi. Well, this is what's going on, folks. This is the ad. It's just back to back. This is the ad that Democrats are running on right now, 2018, across the board. This is their new ad called Diamond Teeth.
Diamond Teeth, okay. Kind of interesting.
Ever wonder where all that money went from the Republican tax bill?
What are you going to do with your tax cut?
I don't know, because I love Lamborghinis, but I already have a bunch. So you know that fancy bottled water, the Fiji water?
Gonna fill my pool with those.
Maybe I could park one in my living room.
I am going to give my nanny a raise. Kidding. I'm going to get a bigger yacht. Do you like that one?
Hey, Chloe, what are you going to do with your tax cut?
Okay, so these are all businessmen and women sitting at a business table. They look back. For those of you on audio only, I'm sorry. But they look back, and there's it looks like an intern or someone helping out. Well, she's got to be paid. Obviously, she's paid.
She's a secretary. She's got to get the coffee for the bigwigs.
Right. So he turns around and says, "Hey, Chloe, we gonna do
interrupts her while she's making them coffee."
Right. Right. Don't drink that racist coffee.
Right.
Here, I'll back it up just a smidge. There you go.
Tax cut.
I didn't get one.
What?
Oh.
This is so dishonest.
It's okay.
This is uncomfortable.
Is this a commercial?
Morning, everyone.
Good morning,
sir. Sorry I'm late.
These teeth diamonds took forever.
Shine like a Lamborghini.
I know, right? Thank you. All right, where are we?
This is a commercial.
Yes.
It's not even remotely believable.
So the boss
That's
comes
not gonna
in.
work.
He's got you know how like some folks will cover all their teeth in gold. Mm-hmm. He's got his teeth covered in diamonds.
You know what that is, Brian? Who do you know that wears the gold fronts?
Oh, a friend of ours.
Well, a friend of ours,
but he's black.
Well, he's black, but it's not very often you see.
I think this is worse than
They're literally pandering to the types of people that get gold fronts. Literally.
Oh.
Or people that live amongst those who get gold fronts. Like, how can we pander to those rapper type people? Can we pander directly to the rappers and the people that look up to rappers? Let's make the CEO guy, the bigwig, the head honcho at the front. Let's give him gold fronts. No. Diamond fronts.
Diamonds.
You know why?
All the way across.
Because they'll relate to that. They'll relate to the diamond fronts. I'm telling you.
And they know how expensive that would be. I don't know I never heard of diamond fronts before.
Well, I don't think they exist.
They do.
Really?
Yes, you can get diamonds stuck in your teeth.
Yeah, but aren't they in gold? Like they're gold fronts with diamonds?
I saw that where this...
Like this guy literally looked like he had braces on, but they weren't braces, they were diamonds.
Right.
Okay, so this is clearly racist. Was it the DNC?
That's the DNC.
They are so racist. Seriously, I feel
the
like...
worst thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, they're pandering to... Like, who... I don't know. It's not even believable anymore. It's just not believable. Anybody who believes, or I should say the amount of people or the type of person that believes any part of that being even remotely close to reality is such a small number of thoroughly, hopelessly brainwashed people. And by the way, none of those people that I'm referring to can possibly have gotten anything from the tax cuts. Because if they did, they would say, well, that doesn't apply to me. Are we to believe, is it true that these people, they could not have gotten a raise from their job, and they could not have gotten any extra money from a tax return? We're down to very, very tiny minority of people. Very few.
Yeah, I think they're drilling diamonds in people's teeth.
Are you sure it's not just an adhesive, like dentures?
It says, yeah, I actually had a diamond drilled in my tooth.
Ouch, that sounds really painful. That's really dumb.
Well, if you're numbed from the pain.
That looks like gold with diamonds.
Gold
in
with
it.
diamond
Yeah.
encrusted, right.
So we're talking and we're looking at something and nobody gets to see it.
That's all right, folks. You don't want to see it anyways.
Well, what did you search so they can search it? Diamond in teeth or something like that?
Oh, yeah. I'll show you this one. This one's fun.
Oh, that's Flava Flav.
Yeah, I was going to say this goes back to Flava Flav days.
I guess he had diamonds in there. It just... So...
I wouldn't know anything about that. I don't know anything about this.
Even people who do...
Ooh, he's got diamond crusted.
Well, that's because he had those teeth missing. Why would you only have... Oh, gosh. Dan Patrick, he's a lib anyway.
Yeah, that's why they're all racist.
Whoa,
Holy
wow.
smokes, folks. I don't know what to say other than these liberals have gone full-fledged. They're exposing who they are.
Yeah, it's here's another thing too. Even if you are that crowd, you're in this group, if you look at a Venn diagram, you're in the group that didn't get a raise due to the tax cuts the company was able to afford to give you a raise or a bonus. You also did not get any extra money back from your tax return. And let's say you also live in the culture where people are aware of, have a lot of knowledge of diamond or gold fronts for your teeth.
Right.
They're not going to believe that some old white guy that's the CEO of a company decided to use his money to put diamond fronts in his teeth. They're not going to believe it.
It don't make no sense.
Right. And if it don't make no sense, you must have quit. Paul Joseph Watson had a new video today as I speak. It just came out a couple of hours ago, where he pointed out that I just happened to see it and just listen to it. He said, you know what? The left just has no more creativity. They have no more creativity left.
None.
And that video proves it. They're just... Look, creative people tend to want to gravitate towards coolness. They're either creating cool, or they're following cool, or they're surrounding themselves with cool.
Look at Obama. And they wanted him to be the coolest of the cool.
Right. And so these creative people who are going to surround themselves with cool or be cool, they want to be part of being cool is being a part of the counterculture.
Right.
And as Paul Joseph Watson pointed out like a year or so ago, the right is the counterculture.
Yeah, we are the counterculture.
Yeah.
You guys lost it. You ain't got it.
Yeah, so the creativity and the creative people are now conservatives. And I'll tell you what the last thing to go is? What is the last thing that a very smart, very creative person who's going to be on the right is going to overtake the left in? Silicon Valley. There is going to be competitors to Twitter and Facebook and YouTube.
Well, and look at what we're on now. We're on Vimeo.
Yep.
Folks, if you're listening to this for the first time, and if you're listening to the show audio, or you're listening to the rebroadcast on Periscope or YouTube or wherever you're listening to this on, you can watch our show live on Vimeo.com/Smith Radio.
5 p.m. Eastern Time every Sunday.
Every Sunday. We'll be posting the links. We did not post a link on Twitter today because...
we are celebrating the right to walk out.
Yeah, so we have a complete blackout on our social media. Yep. Completely blacked out. And midnight tonight, I won't be up at midnight tonight. But
at some point after the right to walk out, it's kind of a weird name because they're using the word walkout for the protests against the Second Amendment. So when people see right to walk out, there's a lot of people who instantly knee-jerk reaction thought it was a protest against the Second Amendment. What the right to walk out is a reference to is that these social media platforms are private companies.
Right.
And they have the right to abuse us as they have. And I've only been shadow banned severely for a long time. That's why I don't have the kind of followers that a lot of these other people who do shows do. I mean, we have 21,000 or 20,100 followers right now as I speak on Twitter. But people like colleagues that do what I do have 30,000 to 300,000.
I'm stuck at 13, 14,000.
Yeah, it's the severe shadow banning, and you can clearly see it in the analytics.
And our shows, when we go live with our shows,
sometimes
they'll just cut us off.
Right. So there's a lot of the shadow banning, which we know is real because James O'Keefe has exposed Twitter, admitting it. Twitter engineers.
Yep.
They were admitting that they do this shadow banning. We all suspected it. We're not stupid. Human beings are smart.
Right.
They figure stuff out. And everybody figured out that shadow banning has to be real. And it turns out Twitter admitted it.
Did you hear what came out this week? I didn't have this in a stack of stuff, but now that you said that, I didn't know it was going to come up. Senior engineers at Google discussing amongst themselves how to sabotage Donald Trump's Gmail account for his entire campaign
and his Android device.
I was going to say, and his Android device, just to sabotage all of it.
Yeah, they were thinking of actually deleting not just his Gmail account, but also any associated Gmail accounts that he would have made. So if he had 10 different Gmail accounts, just literally delete all of those.
Or people in his campaign that they knew were part of it. They were going to sabotage it all.
And Brian has discussed this many, many times in many, many shows, that when you are at that level in Google or at that level in Facebook, you have access to literally everything. Everything.
Don't think they don't know your password.
They know
do.
everything. If you type it in on their app or you upload it to their app, any of that, they have full access to it. Do not think for a second that the creator of Facebook cannot go right into all your DMs, all your private messages, and read all of it, because they made the code that enables you to see what you see when you're on their app. They have everything.
And when you hit private photo, that directly alerts them and let them know that there's a private photo that they should probably look at.
Because it might be something that
might be naughty.
Oh,
right.
Wow.
No, don't.
No surprise.
And don't Google this, but it's out there, folks. There are websites dedicated to oopsie photos or hacked accounts.
Oh, right.
Of photos of women and things, whether it be on Facebook, the Google, some of these celebrities, their phones have been hacked. Yeah.
Right.
They've got it all. They're making all kinds of money off this stuff.
Right. Yep.
So
I mean, imagine like Amazon. They have these databases that have, everybody's address that sends something or orders something through Amazon. Well, their tech guy could be able to log in and look up a celebrity's address and just dox the hell out of somebody.
And then nobody knows. Nobody. And then he does what James Comey did. He gives it to a friend to give it to the media.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, James Comey did do that, which hopefully he will be seeing the long arm of justice.
The wheels of justice move slowly, folks.
Well, to wrap up the right to walk out thing, that was this weekend. That's why I haven't been on Twitter. That's why Brian has been on Twitter and a lot of other people. And Wayne Dupree, did you hear about him?
No.
He took a picture, uploaded to Instagram of him wearing the R2WO.com t-shirt.
So cool.
So he's obviously participating in it. And so I didn't even finish the one sentence I said. Twitter, private company, Facebook, private company, they have a right to abuse you.
Sure.
And we have a right to walk out and walk away from their platform.
Right.
And so that's what that whole protest is in reference to. And probably ongoing, so that there'll probably be future dates of virtual walkouts, virtual protests. It's not really a boycott. That's another thing. I want to say this real quick before we leave this segment. I've noticed from this right to walk out thing that there's a lot of conservatives that just are, a little cold feet on this. They're not really fired up about this. And I'm listening to Sean Hannity this week and listening to him saying, I'm not real big on boycotts. I don't believe in them. Well, he's a very influential person, so obviously a lot of people are going to pick up on that. But there's lots of conservatives that are very independent thinkers. They have their own minds, and they believe the same thing independently, that they don't believe in boycotts. And I just wanted to point out that a boycott is an integral part of a capitalist society.
Yes, you talk with your money.
Right, and I can't remember where I heard this from. It might have been Robert Kiyosaki. I don't know. But somebody said that when they were a kid, their parents said, you see this dollar bill I'm holding here in front of you?
Yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Was it?
Yeah, I think
this is my vote.
Yeah, that might have been.
He was taught that every dollar you have, consider it as a ballot cast.
Right.
And you use that to vote for or withhold the vote from whatever company that you're purchasing their products from. Okay? So let's say UDF is selling ice cream, and if I like their ice cream, I'm going to vote for them by buying it, and that's their votes, and that helps them.
And if Ben and Jerry's got a sale on ice cream, I just might leave the door open so it all melts.
There you go. And it's because Ben and Jerry are communists.
Ben and Jerry's is absolute psycho communist. Full-fledged, die in the wool. I just no question about it.
Right. Now, advertisers, here's the thing. What is an advertiser? An advertiser is the same company, could be a UDF, Ben & Jerry's, whatever, and they need to get the word out that they exist or that they have a sale or this is the price of a product or, hey, these products we sell. So if you're in the market for these products, we're letting you know to come do it. Now, they have to pay for the people to advertise this. And who are the people that advertise it? It is platforms, media platforms such as news or television shows or radio shows or Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. They don't think that you're a customer of Facebook. If you have not advertised on Facebook and paid them money to put an advertisement on Facebook, you're not their customer. You are not a customer. You are you're the same as like when you watch TV. When you watch a show, you're not that show's customer.
Right.
So all this thing, once you start to understand how all these different entities work together, you got the company that sells a product, you have these media companies that sell ad space, and they all work together. You need to realize that conservatives are not very conscientious consumers.
No.
And they need to start doing that because, as Rush Limbaugh says, politics is in everything. And you are either a willing participant or an unknowing participant.
Right.
You don't even know. But if your dollars are going out of your wallet and going to places, you are a participant in this in politics. It's politics.
So when you buy an ad for the Yellow Pages,
yeah.
Carrie and I both learned a very, very valuable lesson on that one. Don't run from the Yellow Pages.
And why is that?
Oh, it's awful. Nobody calls. Nobody goes to the Yellow Pages.
So you got to get something for your money, and if you advertise on like a Yellow Pages, the big yellow book, and you end up not getting any business from that, then it wasn't a good investment, and you don't invest in that anymore.
So you move on and vote with your dollar.
Now boycotts, though, the boycott thing is this. This is all a boycott is. It's letting a company who is sending their money to a product, a company who is pushing an agenda that you don't agree with. You're just letting them know, hey, you're sending your money to this company that has an agenda. If you agree with that agenda, you can go and get ahead and keep doing that. But because I don't agree with that agenda, I am not going to cast my ballot to you. I'm not going to purchase your product anymore. And that's all that is. And you should be engaging in that. This is not – people say, oh, it's anti-capitalism. No, it's actually an integral part of capitalism because it involves the political aspect of it, and it's all politics.
And I don't know why Sean Hannity says that on a regular basis. Somebody needs to wake him up because I'll tell you right now, if there was a product out there or a restaurant or something out there that said whites only, you don't think that – well – you don't think somebody would boycott that?
Yeah, would you go?
I would be in line to boycott
Would
that.
you go to a restaurant that has a sign on the front door that says whites only? I wouldn't.
Well, then you're boycotting.
Well, but I just don't want to go there because
I don't want to give them my money. I don't want my money to go to that kind of cause.
They could have delicious food, great service, and all that, and I could know that. It could be a well-known, established fact that they have great food and great service. So the idea that I wouldn't go to it because it has that sign on the front is not a testament to their food or service or their product or service. It is a testament to the fact that they believe in something that I don't believe in.
Right.
So I'm just not going to patronize that.
Now, there are other times where I loved watching Paul Newman and Robert Redford, their movies and whatnot. And I was never a Clooney fan, but I'd watch a movie or two. I was never a fan of some of the Hollywood elites, but I'd watch a movie. Now that you've been outspoken and you have told me how much you hate middle-class America, how much you hate America in general, I don't go to those movies. I don't buy those things. I was
going to say, do you get his dressing?
No, I do not.
But it's a nonprofit.
I know. He started a nonprofit after his kid committed suicide, killed himself.
Well,
but I'm not patronizing any of them. None of that whatsoever. The Clintons got a nonprofit.
Yeah, we're definitely not. Well,
I'm not patronizing that either.
It's not a nonprofit, though.
No, it is nonprofit because they pass all the money out.
Legally, it is.
They pass it all out to everyone that needs money.
Wow. What do you mean by need?
Well, they got an agenda. You know,
okay.
Like
they're allies.
Chelsea Clinton.
Yeah.
She needs money.
Oh.
In a wedding. Anyways.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, so
corruption.
Folks, if you like what you see here, if you like Smith Radio, you like what you hear, please share this with your friends and family and check out patreon.com/Smith Radio. I've been told that we might have to think about moving to just strictly PayPal. If you are a PayPal person, you can go and be a subscriber for $1.
Have that, don't we?
Yeah, you could go to PayPal, paypal.com/Smith Radio, and
okay.
you could donate $1 a month, $5 a month. They've got a reoccurring system just like Patreon, but it doesn't cost us anything. Patreon actually costs.
Yeah, it's per transaction, though. So it's the same thing as if you were... I used PayPal since 2000, maybe even 1999, because if you've ever used eBay before...
You had to have it.
Yeah, they ended up kind of wrapping all up into eBay. So if you've ever made a purchase on eBay, you know how to use PayPal. So
right. Anyways, and as we're talking about this, we're talking about Democrats just absolutely imploding this week. They're running on narratives. They're running on empty. They're running on fumes. They're saying the same old, tired, worn-out mantra again and again and again. And shows like ours are popping up all over the internet. And so... as I was saying before, they're screaming now, repeal and replace tax cuts. And this by Fox News. Top congressional Democrats used this week's IRS filing deadline to ramp up calls to repeal GOP tax cuts. Drawing jeers from Republicans who say the package is helping working Americans, putting some rank-and-file members in a difficult spot. So this by Missouri Democrats. And there are Democrats across the nation that are up for re-election that are pushing back against Nancy Pelosi and pushing back against the Democrat Party for saying repeal tax cuts. Repeal tax cuts?
I say let them keep saying that.
Right. And this is Democrat Representative Emanuel Cleaver out of Missouri said, any amount of money more than you have is good.
Right. And that's what's happening. And that's why this can't work. The only way that they can use tax cuts to help them politically is to point out that, let's say that people are not getting money back, which they're trying to say in that one ad. They could say, you see, they're trying to take credit for tax cuts. But did you get tax? I didn't get tax. Nobody got tax cuts. They lied to you. Vote them out. But guess what?
I got proof.
I
filed my taxes. I got money back because I paid way too much into it. But I got money back. I got more money back now than I did last year. But I still was taking the same amount out of my paycheck. I never changed the deductions per week. and I actually made less money this year. A good friend of mine that I work with, my millennial, he said he got back more money than he'd ever got back. Him and his wife, no kids. They own a house and 2 cars. He said they got back more money than they'd ever gotten back.
Yeah, and then what about the people who end up getting either raises or bonuses based on the fact that their company that they work for is getting more money back? And by the way, learn how capitalism works for all you libs out there. You can't get away with just keeping all the money and enriching yourself as a business owner, because all your best people, your smartest people, are going to realize that they can get paid more at another company because those other companies have more money too, and they're going to be able to pay people more. So wages are going to go up, and for you to sit there and say, well, I can continue to pay all my smart people the same amount of money, this big bonus or this big tax cut that I'm getting as a company, I'll be able to just pocket it all and buy Lambos. Well, guess what?
Get diamond crusted teeth.
I'll be able to get my gold fronts I've been saving up for. Problem is guess what? By you not increasing the wages of your employees, it's not going to be very long before they're going to start seeing classified ads for people hiring, and they're going to hear how much they're hiring for, and they're going to be like, wow, I should probably put my resume in there.
Think about this. Seriously, think about this. This is an insult to business owners, small business owners, which is the largest group of people who hire. This is an insult to them and just spitting in their face, because they're being as responsible as possible to keep and save every dime, every nickel, every dime, every dollar. They got tight budgets. They got, deadlines. They got pay people to do their tax returns and get the best deal that they can get. And at the same time, hire people, keep people in small businesses. And you're telling me because they get a tax break or a tax cut and they see an extra, I don't know, but just say, throw a number out there. Say they get an extra 20 grand back this year compared to last year. Just throw out a round number. If you're a small business and you got 20 grand back,
if I got an extra 250K back, I'm getting a Lambo.
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're going to look at either building your business, growing your business, setting up another shop, franchise your business, maybe buy some income property, something.
Well, think of this too. If you're a small business owner, you got to realize that a lot of your employees know a lot about you personally.
Yeah.
Sometimes these guys will host business parties at their own house, or you really get to know these people. You show up with a Lambo, and everybody's going to be like, I'm going to get the money for that.
A nice car there, Bubba.
And by the way, I'm still only getting paid, not so much in this place over here. Your competitor is paying a lot more for my position.
It is not a responsible decision. Responsible business owners don't make decisions. If you're a business owner, you've got decisions to make, and you're considered, especially if you're successful, you're a leader. You know how to make decisions because you make good ones, and you make them probably more good decisions than not.
Did you hear
if
about
you're successful? Buying a Lambo is not, first and foremost, that would be the last thing on anyone's mind.
You know what would be good to queue up right now? There is a sheriff's department, or I don't know if it's a...
Oh, that's on Arab Emirates. Yeah,
no, I thought it was an American.
No.
Are you sure?
United Arab Emirates, they have Lamborghinis and Porsche.
No, there is a police department in America who used taxpayer money as an outreach program to buy a Lambo.
That was the shooting down in South Park City, Parkland Police Department.
Parkland Police Department has a Lambo.
I'm almost positive.
And it has all the colors of a cop car, and it even has the light bar on top, I believe. I didn't know it was Parkland, but we're just talking about how irresponsible that would be, and somebody's like, man, you know what you should do? We could really connect with the community because we'll look cool.
Here you go. I just did a Google search, said Longview Police Department Lamborghini, Alpharetta Police Department Lamborghini. We were in
Click
Alpharetta.
on it. You mean from Georgia? Georgia's got one? Click on it. And
Alpharetta Police.
Can you maximize it?
I can do anything.
Oh, that looks like a Aston Martin.
This one right here? Yeah, this is an Aston Martin.
Do the Lambo.
So everybody wants to see it.
Oh, that's so
Everyone
sad.
wants to see a Lambo.
I never could understand why you couldn't go full screen with those pics, but
they don't want you. They want you to click on it to go to their website.
That's an Alpharetta Police Department Lambo.
Snazzy new ride, Lamborghini.
Oh, that's not a Lambo. What is that? Oh, that's not even a No, that's not a real pic.
Seacrest County, Lamborghini.
Ah, so see, you have to be the kind of irresponsible person that you will find at as a bureaucrat in the government.
Oh, this headline says another Aston Martin for the Atlanta police.
How many?
Another Aston Martin. And folks, Aston Martins are really not all...
They're British.
Yeah, it's not all that cracked up. They're really not that
good.
They're
only expensive because they ship them from Great Britain.
Yeah, when I lived in Italy, BMWs were the junk car. you could, and when I was stationed in Italy,
if you had like a 7
90s,
Series, it was like a grocery getter.
Everybody was like selling used BMWs. You'd be like, "Oh, I'll buy one." $1,500, $2,000.
Gosh, really?
Just a used, beat up old BMW. Everybody had them. They were everywhere.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, we've got irresponsible government run amok right there.
Wow.
And
surprise.
Don't think for 1 second that's not some kind of Democrat infestation that's
of course
it's run amok.
Yeah, I mean they are the government workers, the deep state, the bureaucrats.
Right. So Democrat leaders made the tax law repeal a focus during a tax march. Did you hear about this?
No.
I didn't know there was a tax march, but this past week there was a tax march rally on Capitol Hill on Tuesday. We were working. That's probably why we didn't hear about it. When we take back the House, we will repeal and we will replace this bill.
Why are they so fired up about sending more money to the government?
New York Democrat Representative Joe Crowley, not to be confused with Aleister Crowley.
I don't know who Aleister Crowley is.
He was a Satan worshiper back in the day.
Oh.
I just say
I could see how that could be confusing.
And he looked like, and I think that's where they got the character for the monsters, Uncle Fester.
Okay.
He looked identical to Uncle Fester.
Okay.
The white skin, the shaved head.
Okay.
So Joe Crowley, not Aleister, but Joe Crowley, the chamber's number 4 Democrat, said on Tuesday. He was followed by, because she stalks everybody. He was followed by House Minority Leader Nancy, I've lost my ever-loving mind, Pelosi, Democrat out of California, calling the GOP plan a scam. She didn't use the word crumbs this time, but she said scam, and saying 83% of tax cuts are going to...
Oh, she's using math here.
The top 1% of American earners.
That's fuzzy math. Guys, listen, I'm a little bit of a savant when it comes to math. And this is the simplest, easiest little trick that they do all the time. You know, when it comes to, the way money ends up being distributed across the board, the people who earn more are going to have more of the percentage of the total amount. That's just that's just the nature of different amounts of income and different amounts of taxing. And, it's just math. There's nothing strange or nefarious about it or corrupt or anything.
When she says the tax breaks, 83% of the tax cuts go back to the 1%, that's probably because the 1% pay.
Right.
96% of all taxes.
And that's the problem with progressive taxing. It should be a flat tax. But we're getting into
anyway, yeah,
if you're not a math major or an engineer or somebody who's a very, very good at math, all this stuff is designed to confuse you into thinking that somebody is screwing somebody over.
Right. And so the New York Slimes, and apparently they've got something called Survey Monkey.
Okay.
Survey Monkey found, survey says...
Survey Monkey is just a website that allows anybody to create a survey.
Found that 50% of the people surveyed approved of GOP tax law and 45% disapproved.
Sounds partisan.
It sounds way partisan. The tax law appears to be getting more popular, which is a good sign for Republicans' electoral chances.
And why would it be getting more popular?
Tax season. Everybody filing taxes. All of a sudden, they're getting money back.
You start to realize that, oh, this helps me.
Yeah.
I get more money. Okay. I get it now.
Yeah, you get more money. It's your own money. So 66% of Republicans and 14% of Democrats say tax cuts would help family finances. Okay. The question was, does tax cuts help family finances? 66% of Republicans said yes. 14% Democrats said yes. So a tax cut, so then 86% says they won't help my finances?
Wait. Could you repeat the question that they were answering?
Okay. Would tax cuts help families' finances?
That's a BS question. Listen, if I made a survey, I would not ask that question. You're asking them to give you an answer based on people that they may or may not have any knowledge of whatsoever. All you need to do is say, did this help you or did it not help you? Please be honest. That's all they had to say. That's like, Brian, did Joe down the street, did he have a good day yesterday? Why am I asking Brian this? And how can I assume that his answer is going to have any bearing on what Joe down the street did he have a good day or not? Why would Brian know? Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know.
Hey, Kerry, would tax cuts increase the deficit in the long run? There was a question.
This is
it's a subjective question at worst.
Well, you're assuming
I can read the future, and you're assuming I know economics.
No.
Or you're assuming that I understand deficit versus.
But this is a math problem that's already been solved. It's like saying, Brian, if I drop this object, will it fall at 32 feet per second or not? And Brian may answer yes. He may answer no. But guess what? There are scientists that already answered that question. Yeah. It's been solved.
There's a mathematical calculation that you just plug the numbers in and go.
So the question is literally just looking for whether or not the public knows the truth or they believe in lies.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Yep. So the last question was, would tax cuts benefit the United States economy?
So they're basically finding out whether people believe in it or not.
82% of Republicans said yes.
That's because they believe that
they watched Family Ties back when we were kids.
Well, they believe that more money in the hands of individuals will help. So 82% of them buy into that.
What do you think the percentage of Democrats said yes?
Considering that they think that the way to help America is to give all the money to the government, I would say it'd be a pretty small percent.
Well, even Nancy Pelosi said it is a boost in the economy. Unemployment. Unemployment is a boost, a shot in the arm for the economy.
That is so nonsensical. So what percentage we got?
11.
That's almost none.
That is so low. It's like they mistakenly grabbed a couple of people who said, yeah, I voted Democrat once.
No, somebody didn't understand the question.
11% of them couldn't get it.
Or they tried to click on one answer and accidentally clicked on the other and didn't realize that mistake.
You know, there is a margin of error of like 3.5% on these.
Yeah, where you attempted,
plus or minus 3.5%.
Meaning that you attempted to answer one way, you wanted to answer one way, but just the error of clicking the wrong thing and not realizing that you did it. So that's part of the error.
Right. No.
Okay. All right.
So it's just getting worse for the Democrats. It really, really is. And again, they're just pounding down on such nonsensical nonsense, whether it be tax cuts hurt people. I don't know how keep my own money hurts me, but tax cuts hurt people. And Stormy Daniels is real, and she's real, and something really happened. Did you hear what happened this week, Carrie?
This week?
With Stormy.
Well, I figure that nothing's changed, right?
No.
Okay.
There's some breaking news in the hunt for the truth.
Okay.
Of adult film star who gets paid to do what most folks on the street get thrown in jail for. She gets to do it legally. For whatever reason, I guess you've got a license for that kind of thing. I don't know.
Well, they say prostitution is illegal unless you're filming it.
Yeah, and then you're legit to quit.
Isn't that so weird?
Something really wrong.
Everybody knows that prostitution's illegal, but you film it, and all of a sudden, it's just porn. Porn's totally fine.
You're good. Everybody's in agreement, and everybody gets paid.
I paid her for this tape, not for the act.
Right, exactly. So, did you see they're looking for the man who threatened Stormy's life to keep quiet? Did you see it? Don't you say a word, or else I'll rough you up.
Yeah, the guy came up to her on her way into the workout facility with her child, baby at the time, I think. Nice kid you got there. Shame if something were to happen to her.
Didn't I see that in a movie one time?
Right, you probably did. And I guarantee you Stormy Daniels saw that in a movie too.
Yeah, we did a low-budget movie in college, and I actually said those words.
That was your lines?
Yeah. I would be ashamed to see something happen to her.
Is that how you said it? Oh, Brian's a method actor, so Brian needs to spend a whole week getting into character.
I need to go down,
beat his wife a little bit.
I need to give roughing some people up, get into it. But no, that's a line out of a movie.
Out of a lot of them. Shame. I think that they parody that line.
I would think so.
She's come out and pretty much recited that verbatim as her testimony, recollection of what happened to her way long time ago. Never reported it, interestingly. And why all of a sudden is she safe now to go ahead and say, like, if she was worried that this was an issue, why all of a sudden is she okay with telling everybody what happened?
Yeah, why aren't the cops involved from day one? This feels like a Me Too movement coming up. I mean, I'm ready for her to start hashtagging Me Too in her. I mean, anyway, so did you see that they got together with a sketch artist?
I didn't see that.
They got with her, and they're like, okay.
Can you describe him?
We're going to find him. All right. I'm a sketch artist. You just start talking what he looked like. She said, I remember it was in my mind. I'll never forget what he looked like ever.
You know what the first thing I noticed about the sketch was? And I see you don't have it queued up for people to see, but but she described the encounter with him as somebody who was dressed very, very well, like very nicely dressed, because that she noticed that about him. So that's why she wasn't that concerned, because he was dressed nice. And that she thought that it was just the husband of one of the other women that were going into this workout facility that was supposed to be only for women. Well, what do you see on that picture? He looks like he's wearing a hoodie or something.
Yeah, he does. He does, doesn't he?
So
okay, I'll get it.
If she's telling everybody in all her rounds through all the daytime talk shows that he was dressed nicely, then why on earth would he suddenly be sketched looking like a thug? Why would he be sketched? The sketch artist made him look like he was coming around an alley or something. So where's the disconnect here?
But the sketch artist, he was watching too many Tom Brady sitcom episodes. Didn't Tom Brady?
No, he's a football.
No, he's got a reality show coming up.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, where they follow Tom Brady through and through. And
okay.
Trail. So, I mean,
it looks just very, very similar to Tom Brady. He looks vaguely familiar. When I first saw the picture, I didn't think Tom Brady, but I did feel like I seen somebody that looked like that before. So I'm not really sure.
somebody overlaid it on Sean Hannity.
Oh no,
it's Sean Hannity. And then, this one right here. Does that look like that guy right there?
I saw a different picture of that guy that looked on awful lot like the sketch. Oh, I think it was there. It is. Yeah, click on that.
Okay, so the sketch artist, and then we're looking at a man hanging out with Stormy.
Well, also there's a Perez Hilton comparison. Did you hear about that? That he looks just like Perez Hilton.
What's Perez Hilton? What is
he's the leave Britney alone.
No, I didn't know that. But anyway, so this is Stormy Daniels' husband.
Okay.
And it looks...
Ex-husband,
and it looks like him.
She described... If she...
Uncannily. I mean, that would be... Well, if they did a picture, if an artist did a picture of me or you, not a caricature, a real penciled drawing, that is it.
That's what he looked like. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, at the end of the sketch, you know what the sketch artist does? The sketch artist will present the sketch to the victim and say, is this what you remember him looking like? Well, she would have said yes. Right?
Right. I would think so.
And guess what? It looks like her ex-boyfriend. So there you go.
I don't see the Perez Hilton.
Oh, did you type in Perez Hilton?
Yeah.
Somebody pointed out that it looked an awful lot like Perez Hilton, and guess what? Perez Hilton responded to that person and said, no, it wasn't me.
It wasn't me at all. So. All right. So that's the big news this week is that Stormy Daniels has coming out with a sketch artist, and apparently it's either Tom Brady or her husband.
Or Perez Hilton.
And so I bring this up on purpose this week, folks, because... Do you know who Stormy Daniels' lawyer? The fired, hot-headed, he's a very hot-headed, fired-up lawyer. I mean, if I was in a car accident, that guy's going to get my money.
Really? Okay. I didn't know that. I didn't know who it is.
Call Maslin, 444-4444.
Oh, Blake Maslin.
Blake. Yeah, he's got the boxing gloves on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's her lawyer. That's what at least that's how he comes off. This, according to BigLeaguePolitics.com, porn star Stormy Daniels' attorney Michael Avenatti worked in a professional opposition research capacity for Barack Hussein Obama's chief of staff, Rahm Emanuel, and Vice President Joe, clear pedophile Biden. Avenatti, who was also a race car driver, worked for Emanuel's firm, the research group, where he served in an opposition research capacity.
Is he a race car driver or is he an ambulance chaser? There's a fine line there.
The race car driver bit was taken from his personal bio on his website.
Okay.
So what he calls it race car driving, we call it ambulance chasing. Whatever. So race car.
You can't be that serious about you can't be that committed to being a lawyer when your bio, you figure you just got to put in race car driver.
Who are you really?
Yeah. Like if you're really serious about being a lawyer, you're not, it's like, oh, I fish on the weekend and I'm a lawyer. Let's put in, I'm a Bass Pro fisherman guy. I don't know. Like you don't even put that in there.
Right. Like on Twitter, on my bio on Twitter, it doesn't say Brian Smith, Make America Great Again, / race car driver / bowling expert / just a golf expert and also radio talk show host.
Well, we do know that you're a goldsmith. We do know that about you. Didn't mean to dox you here on the show, but yes.
My day job, goldsmith, day job. This helps to
Do you make gold fronts?
We don't.
But if I were to ask you, hey, can you custom make me some, because my tax return just got in.
Right, you need some gold. Is that what they call them? Gold fronts?
Gold fronts.
Okay.
You make me some fronts. Yeah.
Okay, so Stormy Daniels' lawyer, Avenatti, who is also a race car driver, worked for Emanuel's firm, the research group where he served in an opposition research capacity on a Joe Biden Senate campaign. So this goes back a long time. While in college and later in law school, Michael worked at a political opposition research media firm run by Rahm Emanuel, who later became the White House chief of staff and is presently the mayor of Chicago. During his time there, Michael worked for over 150 campaigns in 42 states, including multiple gubernatorial and congressional campaigns. Joe Biden's U.S. Senate campaign, according to Avanti's biography on his website.
Okay.
150 campaigns in 42 states Avanti worked on.
The thing that sticks out to me the most is that he was what he did in a lot of these campaigns.
Yeah, the opposition research.
He's the oppo research guy. And to me, when you look at all the crazy things that's surrounding Trump in the news cycle almost every day for months and months now, it's opposition research related stuff, especially with the Mueller investigation. A long time ago, I have to give Rush Limbaugh credit for this. It wasn't something that I foresaw, but before the Mueller investigation, before the special counsel was even assembled, and it was a possibility, Rush Limbaugh started sounding all the sirens, all the warning sirens, all the warning bells. This is going to serve as oppo research for the Democrats for 2018 and especially 2020 because it's against Trump.
Right.
So this is going to be a government-funded oppo research against Trump for the DNC if this is allowed to happen. And this was before the special counsel was actually put together, and then it did come together, and now we see that that's been absolutely proven to be the case.
And Mueller hasn't been able to find the right information, so they had to go and get more information, right?
Well, they're just getting whatever information they can so that it can be leaked to the proper channels to become the oppo research for 2020. Like, for instance, let's raid Cohen's office.
I just gonna say, because we need more information.
So that we can what was the big thing in 2016? It was all about, where's your tax returns? Why can't you publish? Every presidential candidate since George Washington has released their taxes. Why haven't you released your taxes? Hashtag release the taxes. So they know they're not going to get the taxes, so let's just go ahead and raid the offices necessary to get the taxes. And that's what we did with Cohen. This is literally oppo research. All this was, hey, we need the taxes. It's as simple as that. And we need to be able to publish taxes and use it as a bludgeoning tool for 2020. So that's why they raided Cohen's office. And so now you're saying that the Stormy Daniels attorney is an oppo research guy. Well, that's why he's there. And that's why the Stormy Daniels thing is happening. This is big part of the oppo research for 2020.
Right. 100%.
Sad.
100%. And
This is just
Rahm
pathetic.
Emanuel, the godfather of Chicago, allowing innocent lives and black women and mothers, black mothers, crying and bleeding hearts because of their sons and daughters and infants being shot up in Chicago.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rahm Emanuel, for fixing the skyrocketing homicide rate in your city.
Interesting thing about Rahm Emanuel is he was sent to Chicago to be installed in leadership position by the Democrats to be the mayor. It's not like he said, you know what? Next thing I'm going to do, I want to run for mayor. No.
He was working in the White House
He was
for
in the White
Obama.
House. And they said, oh gosh, we got to do something with this guy. He can't stay here. Let's install him.
And he's a good communist, so he'll do what we need him to do.
Right, but isn't it interesting though when you think back at back in the Soviet Union days? Kim Jong-un or whatever, the first one.
Yeah, Kim Jong-un was the grandfather.
He's the grandfather of the current dictator, Kim Jong-un, and he was the first one. Do you remember how he became the dictator of North Korea?
Yeah, I do.
Stalin said, we need a dictator of the communist regime in North Korea. Send him. So they sent that. They literally installed him. Isn't it interesting the parallels between the Communist Party in the United States that we call the Democrats
right,
and the communist regimes from all of history? They install their communist puppets wherever they need them. Rahm Emanuel is the puppet that was installed by the Communist Party in America, the Democrats, in Chicago to lead Chicago. The same way they installed Senator Obama in Illinois.
Oh, yeah.
The same way they installed Clinton, Senator Clinton, in New York.
Right. Real quick about Obama and his Senate run. Do you know how he ran against another Democrat that was gosh. It was a sitting Democrat.
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
he was an incumbent. He was like, I got this. Everybody loves me. I'm doing great. Obama and the regime approached him and said, we've got this on you.
Shame what would happen if anything happened to your kid. Nice kid there.
He announced,
cute kid.
He announced, he stepped down, walked, moved out of the way.
Shame if anything happens.
You know what, man? I'm kind of tired of this old thing called the Senate. I'm tired of doing this.
How about Clinton when she was installed in New York? Hey, John F. Kennedy Jr.
He's running.
Cute guy you got there. Cute
girlfriend.
Candidate.
Well, he had a girlfriend.
Yeah, was she on the plane?
Yes.
Oh, wow. So, yeah.
JFK, I don't believe he announced he was going to run, but the media.
Everybody knew he was gonna run.
The media treated him like a darling. They loved him. He was Camelot all over again. He was the son that did the salute.
He was the heir. He was the heir.
Heir to Camelot. He was the son that did the salute to his father's casket. Groomed and raised to be what he was, and he just a gorgeous man. I mean, if there ever was one. If he were to run against Hillary Clinton, there's no question. They said that he would have just crushed her.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Okay.
Everybody loved John F. Kennedy Jr.
And he was a responsible pilot, too. As the descent, he takes off. As they're descending, there's an explosion in the sky. And that's it for him. And Hillary Clinton walks up. I'm the senator.
Yeah, was installed just like that.
I'm telling you, fact. You come up with your own conclusion, and if you really want to know more about it, go to whatreallyhappened.com.
Yeah, and I mean, it is a conspiracy theory. It's just that
I don't have proof.
Sure is convenient. Sure is convenient. We're not ones to peddle conspiracy theories and act like they're definitely true. But I'll entertain all of them.
When it comes to the Clintons. There's just too many dead bodies are laying around everywhere.
Well, both Brian and I have both been in the aerospace industry, and me probably more so than Brian with the fact that I worked at GE and also learned how to fly myself briefly. And the kind of I was actually out there doing inspections. Like Brian was in there like working on the you were the airframes and stuff like that.
No. Well, we were the we'd have to come out. And with the TCTOs, we'd have to decide whether this could fly, this couldn't fly.
Oh, yeah, right. So you do
based
those
on schematics.
So
and
there's
whatnot.
inspections galore. But what as a flight line mechanic, I would be the guy that had to do the dailies and turnarounds, which were I was the last eyes to see the aircraft before it was up in the sky.
Right. I didn't do any of that. That
being said, I can tell you based on the hundreds and hundreds of inspections I've done that. It's a little suspect.
Well,
it's suspect.
Even this the plane incident, two aircraft incidents this week. The one where the female, she was one of the first female naval fighter pilots, and he got hired on back in '93 as a commercial airline pilot. And she said, I can't believe they wrote it in the article, but she said, every time I fly, I feel like it's an opportunity for me to share Christ with the people I'm flying with.
Surprised they didn't silence her.
Maybe
that's why the plane blew up.
Engine explodes. Now, these engines are built to house whatever
Well, I was
blows
going to
up.
say, I wanted to talk about, are we getting off topic? Because I was going to say, is that part of the stack? Because I did want to talk about that.
Okay, we can, but I was relating it to Hillary Clinton and JFK blowing up. But, I mean... I was relating it to Hillary Clinton. I'm just saying to you, she landed the aircraft. She said as soon as the engine blew, and you were talking about a seasoned pilot, and JFK, he wasn't a fighter pilot, but they said he was a very, very experienced pilot. The engine blew on this aircraft. She radios the tower and says, "Hey, I think we've lost part of the aircraft. We'll be slowing down right about now."
Yeah, she was very she was cool as a cucumber.
I'm just saying. So Anyways,
cooler than the other side of the pillow.
There you go.
I think that was a ESPN reference.
That definitely was
a Sports Center reference. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We've got we wrapped that up. The Cohen thing. We're talking about. We were talking about the lawyer for Stormy Daniels and all the corruption that is the Democrat Party. We're getting deep in this corruption now. It is so deep and so unbelievable.
Well, it looks like justice. Actually, people who want to see justice served when it comes to all this corruption and illegal activity by the Democrats in politics against using the government against their opposition. This is the week where we actually see a little pinprick of light that I liken to the light at the end of the tunnel. Like we're in the darkness, we're in the cave, you don't see any light, and we're supposed to hear from a lot of people. Jesse Jane Duff was telling us, oh, no, Sessions has got this. Man, he's really making this happen. So she's telling us, oh, no, we're going to get to the end of this tunnel eventually. Meanwhile, it's just total blackness. This week, we finally see a pinprick of light where, oh, my gosh, is that the end of the tunnel? Is there light at the end of this tunnel? Seems like it might actually happen.
There's some light, and it's
justice.
It's the light is really far away.
It's a pinprick. It's a dot, a little dot, but it might actually happen. This Trump train, may actually see the light of day when it comes to justice. The justice train. The justice train will see the light of day. Hopefully before. I would like to see it happen in a way that would maximize the damage to the Democrat Party for the 2018 elections.
I would love for that to happen.
That would be so cool.
That would be this summer. To happen within the next 2-3 months. People are sick and tired of this. They're sick and tired of the Russia thing, and they're saying right now there's overwhelming support for James Comey to be prosecuted. Overwhelming on both sides. It's just unbelievable.
The Democrats are throwing him.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Democrats are hating on James Comey because he's throwing the darling Loretta Lynch under the bus. He's throwing McCabe under the bus. He's throwing out lifelines everywhere and just throwing. No, it's not me.
Such a liar.
It's not me.
He's such a liar.
So this morning, you want to start with James Comey? Or you want to start with Maria Bartoromo?
Oh boy, which is more appropriate? The Maria one is shocking.
Well, we can use the Maria and then lead into Comey.
Okay.
Because it has to do. They both have to do with each other. Maria Bartoromo is on Fox Business News. She's very level-headed. I absolutely love the way she reports the news. It doesn't seem like there's any personal opinion involved. I mean, she's just solid.
She's
the young Janine, Judge Janine.
She does not let when somebody's begging the question with their comments, she makes sure the question gets asked.
Yes.
Which is actually kind of rare. Most people are just talking heads, and they're just not very good at what they do. But they look good on camera, and they got pipes. They got pipes. They sound good in front of a microphone, or they can read a teleprompter or whatever. But I have to give her credit on this.
So she interviews Devin Nunez. And Devin Nunez, if you remember, was the one that put together the memo, Nunez memo, about. It was a summary of everything that they had discovered and uncovered
about the FISA warrant.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so now he's being interviewed by Maria because apparently there's some new news out.
Oh gosh.
And it ain't good.
So it took us a long time to actually get this, what's called the electronic communication. As we know it now for your viewers, what that is it's the original intelligence, the original reasons that the counterintelligence investigation was started. Now, this is really important to us because a counterintelligence investigation uses the tools of our intelligence services that are not supposed to be used on American citizens. So we've long wanted to know, well, what intelligence did you have that actually led to this investigation?
All right, pause this real quick. I want to, just to summarize real quick.
What's he saying?
He's saying that you're not supposed to ever spy on American citizens, because that's the Fourth Amendment. But there are certain things that can trigger this kind of, and that's FISA warrant. You present this kind of stuff, and they say, okay, well, we better start spying on this guy. So there has to be just cause, all this kind of stuff. It's all written in the Fourth Amendment. So what Nunez is saying here is that something major needed to trigger this. And what he wanted to do was to find out what that trigger was.
Where was the intelligence?
Mm-hmm.
The intelligence community gathering what intelligence did they use to produce a FISA warrant?
Okay.
That's exactly
right.
what he's saying. All right.
So what we found now, after the investigators have reviewed it, is that, in fact, there was no intelligence. So we have a traditional partnership with what's called the Five Eyes Agreement. Five Eyes Agreement involves our friends in Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, Canada, and of course us. So long-time process and procedures in place where we move intelligence across. We are not supposed to spy on each other's citizens, and it's worked well, and it continues to work well. And we know it's working well because there was no intelligence that passed from Five Eyes through the Five Eyes channels to our government. And that's why we had to see that original communication. So now we're trying to figure out, as you know, we are investigating the State Department. We think there's some major irregularities at the State Department, and we're trying to figure out how it is that this information about Mr. Papadopoulos, of all people, who was supposedly meeting with some folks in London, how that made it over across into the FBI's hands. We know a little bit about that because of what some of the State Department officials themselves have said about that.
Mr. Chairman, you've got to explain what you just said. I think this is extraordinary, that you're telling us that in order for the FBI, the Department of Justice, to launch an investigation into so-called collusion between President Trump and the Russians, there was no official intelligence used. Then how did this investigation start? I don't understand, sir.
Well, not only that, but you got to help me out here. I didn't know there was a law that Trump couldn't collude with Russia. Anyways, I digress.
Please explain.
Well, I think that is the point. We don't understand. We've never understood because we have access to these finished intelligence products, and we've never seen one. So we thought, well, maybe there was one that went through a different channel that was kept really quiet, that was secret, that was kept from the Congress.
He's giving him benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, he's trying to give it to him.
In fact, after our investigators reviewed this, that is not what happened. There was no Five Eyes intelligence product as it's been reported. There was no product, and I think that's a major problem. And this is even more critical. Let's just at the highest level. What is this? What is this about? This was about a counterintelligence investigation that was at the height of a political campaign, where you opened up an investigation using these intelligence services to spy on the other campaign. It's really serious stuff.
It's quite extraordinary. So you're investigating the State Department. Does that mean it was Hillary Clinton pulling the strings? I mean, here you have Hillary Clinton, former Secretary of State. She's the other candidate. Is she pulling the strings on an investigation launched on her opponent, her political opponent, Donald Trump?
That we now know that there was no official intelligence that was used to start this investigation. We know that Sid Bloomenthal and others were pushing information into the State Department.
Sid Bloomenthal.
Oh, my goodness.
Sid Vicious and another character. He's pushing information into the State Department that somehow made its way to the FBI.
We're trying to piece all of that together, and that's why we continued to look at the State Department.
They're going to hide the hell out of that. They are going to hide the connections that made that all happen. Somebody's going to go to the grave with those connections.
And they might go to the grave sooner than they expected to go.
But
to the grave.
Without a thorough explanation, as far as Nunez is concerned, and rightfully so, I agree with this on him, that there was no intelligence. They're waiting to see. Oh, he's already made the conclusion that there's no intelligence that was used to trigger this investigation, but he wants to see all, like, maybe he can discover, well, how did it start in the first place, if we can find these connections on, how it went from A to B to C. And so pretty much just out of the blue, they decided we need to start investigating these people.
Right. So again, no intel from the intel community that was credible to be used. There was no intel, which means it was just, let's do this. It's out of thin air.
Yeah.
Let's make this up.
State Department, Hillary at the time, but
Right.
he also pointed out FBI. How did it get in the hands of the FBI, and how did it go? Well, that's Comey.
It went to the State Department, and the State Department got it to the FBI. And check this out. He made the comment about the Five Eyes Agreement. The Five Eyes Agreement, again, Australia, New Zealand, UK, Canada, and America. We're all in intel with each other, working with each other. However, we know for a fact that GHCQ, the intel for the UK, is in our intel building in Langley. They got their own office right there.
Okay.
And so it's like one of the FBI guys come by and slip a piece of paper and say,
interesting.
Hey, man, hey, what's up? And just kind of slip a little file. And if GHQC opens it up and says, oh, hey, look what we got. We found some intel on Donald Trump. So what really happened, and he did bring up Papadopoulos. Papadopoulos, this goes back, folks. This goes back to 2016. Papadopoulos was in the UK at a bar having a few drinks with an Australian official. He's the Australian, what was he? He was the Australian diplomat, one of the number one diplomats, Australian diplomats in the UK.
Okay.
Having drinks with Papadopoulos. Papadopoulos tells him, says, hey, give me another scotch. I got something to tell you. So he's like, here's two.
And a Quaalude.
See you in the morning.
Was that Australian official Bill Cosby?
Whoa! No, it wasn't, because apparently he did get information out of him. He didn't just go out. So he brought him a 3-finger shot and said, hey, okay, Donald Trump's campaign? Yeah, because I work with him, right? We got all kinds of dirt on Hillary Clinton from the Russians.
Okay.
And so this guy, the Australian, I didn't even got his name here. The Australian
official
with direct knowledge of Australia's role, the hacking and the revelation that a member of the Trump campaign may have inside information about it were driving factors led the FBI to open an investigation in July 2016 into Russia's attempt to disrupt the election and whether any of the President Trump's associates conspired. So this Australian diplomat somehow leaked this information, got it to the Clintons, and you're like, really? Yeah, no, really. Papadopoulos and the Australian diplomat, they're both connected to Clintons. So, of course, one's playing the other. Papadopoulos is playing this diplomat, and the diplomat he's getting played, and he gets back to the Clintons, which triggers them to then trigger the FBI and say, look, we got a diplomat telling us this.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird, sordid tale of people. If you can infiltrate, let's say I was a Clinton.
Was that did I understand? Did you understand that?
I think so. I'm going to try to give you an example of maybe what you were saying. So if you were a Clinton person, and you really wanted to screw up a campaign against you from the opposite party, well, you could infiltrate that campaign, and then once you're there, you will be described from there on forward as the Trump campaign.
Right. Right.
As a member of the Trump campaign, what if I started doing the kinds of things that could really implicate some bad activity going on?
When we were with the Trump campaign volunteers, we know volunteers that needed to go away.
No, but what if they were there specifically to do the bad things on purpose on behalf of the Clinton campaign?
Right. No, absolutely. They would be called the Trump campaign.
I mean, what if we joined the Clinton campaign and started talking to, whatever, Chinese and trying to promise them stuff, and all of a sudden we would be called the Clinton campaign.
Right.
And they would say, oh, the Clinton campaign's talking to Chinese officials. You know, something like that.
Right.
So
that's why they're saying Papadopoulos tied to the Clintons, hanging out with Trump campaign, and says to an Australian diplomat over beers, Trump's got trash on Clinton through the Russians.
So he was setting, wow, I don't know. So he was setting the stage for an investigation, possibly.
Yes.
But Nunez said that there was nothing, no intelligence that would trigger an investigation. No intelligence.
Well, that isn't intel. That's gossip. That's one drunk guy talking to another drunk guy.
Okay, that's
not
true.
intel.
And what we found out through just doing research is that Papadopoulos was just, he didn't really have nothing but big talk.
He's a hanger-oner.
He was a big talker. He was like, yeah, man, look at all the inside info, man. And he really, all he did was get a picture with him and Trump at one point and was a volunteer.
Right. So
with ideas. He was a volunteer with ideas.
So the Clintons go ahead and pay a lawyer who then pays Fusion GPS, who then pays Christopher Steele, a former GHQ intel guy, the UK, and also they pay. I'm thinking not Stormy Daniels. They pay that Russian woman, the
honeypot.
Yeah, Natalia. Fusion GPS pays both of these. Christopher Steele comes up with a story to sell, which is the dossier. That dossier is sold to the Clintons because they paid for it. The dossier is handed to the FBI, Comey. The dossier was also given to John McCain to see what he would do with it. And John McCain gave it to Comey, not knowing Comey already knew about it.
Wow.
There's some inside right there for you.
Wow.
So John McCain got me in everything. So, okay, so then the picture, the stage is being set. And the Clintons are starting to create this. It's like a stage play. It's just a stage play.
All right.
So the Clintons are like, how do we get a Russian, how do we get some kind of Russian collusion? Because we've been tapping their wires. We've been listening. Trump ain't doing nothing wrong, but I know he's doing something wrong.
Or no, I don't think they knew he was doing something wrong. I think that they wanted to figure out how to convince the public that he was doing something wrong.
Okay, fair enough. Whatever that, I mean,
and
sure,
the bonus being that maybe in the process of wiretapping him and doing all this illegal surveillance, unconstitutional surveillance, that maybe we may actually stumble on something we can get him on. But that doesn't make never mind. What we're going to do is we're going to figure out how to convince the public that this is happening.
And, Donald Trump knows these things, folks. There's a guy by the name of Preet Bharara, appointed by Barack Obama. Preet was asked, hey, here's what we're going to do. We're going to get one of those Russian prostitutes. We're going to get one.
Start peeing everywhere.
They're going to town.
Okay.
But this one that we know of is a former Russian spy, KGB. Okay? She's, and they're like, we need to bring her here to the United States and meet up with Donald Trump. And Preet Bharara's like, well, we'll just fly her in. Well, we got a little problem. We need your help. She's banned from the UK and she's banned from America. She is on the no-fly list on both countries. Preet Bharara signs a one-time, one-day, one-weekend pass, flies her into Trump's hotel, Trump Tower, to meet with the Don Jr., and Paul Manafort, to get some salacious thing. It's all smoke and mirrors, and then they fly her back out. Well, there's your collusion right there. So we've got this whole stage being set. The whole thing's being painted.
That sounds like collusion to me.
And Comey's on the head of this. McCabe now suing down. That was another big thing this week. McCabe files a lawsuit against wrongful termination of Trump. Trump wrongfully terminated me.
Is he going to get something out of that?
I don't know, but they got him lying to Comey, and Comey said it. Comey, in the interview on The View, said that he lied to me, and Comey said, I lied too. I got that soundbite. That ain't no lie.
I hope he's not hireable by anybody in government, because if he gets a job for like 2 days, he's eligible for full.
Nobody's touching him. Nobody's touching him. He has become a third rail. No, McCabe has become. Not only that, but McCabe has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh,
on GoFundMe pages.
Oh gosh,
thousands. He's probably going to run for Democrat. The president for the Democrats, something. Who knows?
He could be. Well, he could be installed.
Absolutely
He'd
installed.
be the next Rahm Emanuel, be installed by the.
So The View, as wretched as they are, The View has James Comey on this week. And I'm not going to play the part where they're just throwing up, they're loving all over him.
Well, they were.
Whoopi Goldberg says, Look, everybody, please sit down. And the other ladies, Joy Bear, says, hey, look at that. Not everybody gets a standing ovation here. They stood for you. Oh. They are treating him like a rock star.
Well, I think a lot of this theatrics is very carefully choreographed. Honestly, like
I promise you that
we need to make sure he has a standing ovation.
Yep.
We need to point out that he had a standing ovation and make a big to-do about his standing ovation. This is all scripted.
And he talks about how nervous he is on their show because this is his wife's favorite show.
And I can't mess up. I have to.
That's what he said. Did you see it?
No.
He did say that.
Well, I can
said,
predict.
I can't mess up.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess up.
This is my wife's favorite show. She's going to be so starstruck on me now that I'm here.
And talked about his wife and his daughter on the phones for the Hillary Clinton campaign. His wife and his daughter were on the campaign for Hillary Clinton. He said that. And he said, well, but I'm nobody. I don't vote for nobody.
Yeah.
I don't sway no way.
Why? It's not even believable.
No.
It's like when Anderson Cooper says, I don't vote. Why not? Well, because I want to maintain my image of impartiality.
Yeah, but what about your family lineage? You would absolutely have to.
Is it a Rockefeller or he's one of those people?
One of the Rockefellers.
I don't know if it's Rockefeller or Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt.
He's a Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'd approve of his lifestyle nowadays, but whatever.
Whatever.
Anyway, so The View and Meghan McCain, who's supposed to be the conservative part of The View, definitely not. She's a never-Trumper.
She's a rhino. She's the rhino. She's what they call a foil. Do you know what a foil is?
Yes, she is definitely a foil. Please explain to us the foil.
Tucker Carlson used to be a foil.
Yes,
which is really weird because he's really come around. Called Crossfire on CNN.
That's what it was, Crossfire.
So a foil is a person who's supposed to represent the other side of the argument.
Okay.
But they're there to lose.
On purpose.
Right. They're there to be the losing side.
Just like Hannity and Combs. For those of you not old enough, Hannity used to have a co-host.
Yeah, and he died recently. But
God rest his soul.
Yeah, Alan Combs was the losing side of the argument with Hannity.
But he couldn't fight it anymore because it didn't make no sense.
Well, what happens is after a while, it becomes too hard to hide that you don't believe any of the crap that you're saying. Right. And Tucker, strangely, I don't know why, but he was the foil on Crossfire, and I'm not saying that he lost the argument, but they sure made it look like that. But
they dressed him in a bow tie and everything.
Oh, they made him a caricature of conservatism.
Right.
Now, Meghan McCain is a rhino.
Oh, she's a Mitt Romney supporter, and by the way, Mitt Romney finished second in the GOP
And isn't
run.
she the daughter of John McCain?
The traitor?
Yeah.
Who supplied the Taliban with weapons and chemical weapons and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, John McCain.
And worked with the DNC during the Trump campaign to make sure that he lost.
That and worked with Paul Ryan to find a Billy Bush tape saying grab him in a posse.
There you go. So when I hear... And the thing is, Meghan McCain makes some good arguments now and again, but make no mistake, we know that she is fighting against MAGA and the Trump movement, Trump train, all that kind of stuff.
Right, and we played a clip on that last week about her saying, look, You get what you deserve if you vote for Trump. Look, you get what you deserve. If
She
you
was
start,
dropping truth bombs
she
big
definitely
time.
was. So this is a 3-minute clip. You absolutely need to hear this. This is Comey's interaction. Meghan McCain jumps right into the interview with Comey and starts in on him like she doesn't make all the co-hosts. She does not make them happy at all. So I kind of like the way she comes off.
Director Comey, you're not naive to the criticism you've gotten from Republicans and Democrats. And I think it's worth noting that David Axelrod, a big Democrat who's a former chief strategist to President Obama, said, I have no doubt about its brilliance when it comes to book sales. Maybe he should have called it higher royalties. What do you say to people like him and people like me that think you're just doing this for money and attention?
That is the first question out the chute.
Okay.
And you can hear all the co-hosts gasping for air. He's an upstanding man. There's respect. He wrote a book about respect and loyalty to leadership.
Yeah, first thing I do is ask him to read the book. And I'm not saying he...
Did you hear that? Ooh, you got her back.
No, you didn't.
Should agree with me, but if he reads the book, he will see I'm trying to make choices between bad options and doing it in a way that I think you would want someone as director of the FBI to do it. So even if you leave the book still thinking I'm an idiot, you realize I'm actually kind of an honest idiot, and I'm not on anybody's side.
Sake. And they're clapping for that, but I'm not sure why. Like, yes, you are an idiot, but at least you're honest. The thing is he's demonstrably a liar.
It's when they say something like, Kerry, I'm not a very smart man, but I can clearly see that Trump is guilty as hell.
Okay.
So everybody listening to me would be like, well, if Brian's not a smart man and he can clearly see it, well,
you got to be a blithering idiot
not to see it. Yes.
Okay.
Folks, this is sales 101. I used it all the time to sell.
See, I'm the type of person, because I'm not a natural salesman. It doesn't come naturally to me. I'd be like, even a moron can see that.
Hey, Kerry, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest, okay?
Okay, you're going to be honest, okay?
Can I be honest with you?
Yes, you can be honest with
me. Okay, because I got something to tell you.
Because everything else you said was not honest. But anyway, go ahead.
You say that in sales. When you're talking with a client, you get real close to them, lower your voice a little bit and say, hey.
You look back and forth?
Yeah. Can I be honest with you?
I'm sure you can't. No, don't be honest with me. See, I'll throw you a curveball.
Hey, I'll tell you what.
Can you continue to lie to me?
I'm going to be honest with you, okay?
Okay.
I'm flat out. This cannot go back to the warehouse. I can't hold that. You need to know that information.
So if you don't sell it to me, it's pretty much going to go in the garbage.
Yeah.
And then
I'm going to have to throw it away.
And then you got to eat it.
I'm going to have to pay for it.
Oh, not good. So I'm helping you out.
Help me help you.
And help you, because if not, you got to pay for this.
And I'll sell it at cost. I'll give it to you at cost for you helping me. For you helping me. I'm going to help you and I'll get you for cost. And there is a pork chop tax on top of that.
Oh, man.
Don't get me started. As soon as I think I'm out, they pull me back in.
I got to be honest with you.
This is what James Comey's doing. Okay, more. And they're clapping for the game. It's the game.
It was probably scripted. There's probably a giant banner or a monitor that says, please, you must clap now. Else you will be removed.
If you haven't seen the movie The Sting with Robert Redford and Paul Newman in it, you absolutely must see The Sting.
How about The Network?
Oh, The Network's another one. Very good, very good. She's trying to talk and they won't stop clapping.
I don't think anyone who got to your level is an idiot. I would never accuse anyone of that. I think that maybe J. Edgar Hoover is rolling over in his grave at saying the types of things you're saying and revealing the types of things you're revealing. It doesn't seem like something that the director of the FBI... Why are you laughing?
Because J. Edgar, really, he's the wrong guy to bring up.
Okay.
She's right about that.
Oh, no, hold on.
I mean, we're not holding him up on a pedestal, are we?
We're going full-blown tranny sex.
What? Tranny sex?
Wait for it, folks. Liberals always go down the alley. It's the back alley.
I wonder what dress he's wearing.
But he didn't write a tell-all when he left.
Yeah.
So
Did he
that's
say
the
that
point
he was
here.
a trans?
Can I finish my
Yeah.
question,
Yeah.
Mr. Director? So what would you say to that?
That I don't think of it as a tell-all. It's a whole lot more than the stories that are in the last few chapters of the book. It's about mistakes I've made, things I'm very much ashamed of, I did when I was younger. It's a story about portions of my life to try and tell a story. It has no classified information in it, has no sensitive investigative information in it, and I know that because I wrote it and because the FBI reviewed it.
Right.
Oh, so it's about, see what he's doing here? He's painting the facade. Somebody helped him out to paint the facade of how honest he is. Carrie, when I was a kid, remember when I did that? Well, I can't tell you. You already know.
I'm not a perfect person.
Carrie, you know I'm not a perfect person.
It's the Any Given Sunday speech.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Oh, man.
You know me.
I've made mistakes in my life.
Yeah, and I got problems going to the bathroom because of it. And I've lost wives because of women. My wives have left me because of my mistakes.
I made mistakes.
Oh, boy, he just shredded himself in that speech.
He did. He did. He was like, I can't do this anymore. I can never do it.
No. But you know who can do it? You can do it. Adam Sandler's little buddy comes out. You can do it. So this is Comey painting the picture of him being the Boy Scout. This is the Boy Scout.
Yeah.
He's the FBI boy. And he's not J. Edgar Hoover cross-dresser. He's not.
Was he cross-dresser or just full-blown homosexual?
According to Joy Bear and Whoopi, he's full. Now, hold on, folks. You can make fun of a tranny that's not part of your party. See, if he's not part of your party, you can make fun of him. If you're a Democrat.
It's pure politics at all times. It has nothing to do with protected status or anything like that. It's if you got to be a Democrat.
If you're a conservative tranny.
Oh, you're really throwing under the bus.
Woo!
Look how Milo gets treated. He's not tranny, but he's gay, and everybody knows that. But nobody cares. Nobody protects him for being gay.
Right,
it's all about being a
Republican. Effeminate as all get out. Effeminate.
Well, the point is that because he's a Republican, he may actually get treated worse because, see, the Democrats believe that if you're gay, you are required to be a Democrat. And if not, you are worse than an old, white, straight conservative.
Yeah.
Because you're a traitor.
The black guy that went into Starbucks to trick him into give him a coffee.
Oh, Uncle Tom.
He even said it. He said, I hate the fact that they treat me. They want me to act a certain way. They want me to be a victim, and I won't do it. Okay.
So I think J. Edgar Hoover would say you followed the rules, and you did it.
They're clapping because he said that J. Edgar Hoover from the dead. He just channeled him.
Oh, he would say.
Well,
I'm speaking on his behalf.
Hold on. The word would is insignificant in this moment because he painted an image with words of Hoover would say, you did it right. You did it by the books and you were on it. What? Hoover didn't say that. Why would you invoke him? Because it's part of the picture.
Right.
It lends validity to what he's saying. And that's why they're clapping, because he just lent validity to himself. He said, see?
By the way, Meg McCain actually told on herself again by putting J. Edgar Hoover as the standard bearer.
Well, hold on, but J.
It's
Edgar
the
Hoover.
uniparty.
Well, but J. Edgar Hoover started the FBI.
But we all know how horrendous. Like
True that.
How so he was so bad that I'm really surprised that Congress didn't say, I think this whole FBI thing was a mistake. Let's go ahead and liquidate it and start over from scratch. That's how bad he was. And
she might not know the history. She just might not know the history.
Well, then
she might just know that he started the FBI, but not know anything else.
He's so famous. He's got such a famous name that he must have been good. Is that what you're saying?
I've been to the Hoover building, Carrie.
I've been to Hoover Dam.
Hoover Dam, too?
It's got to be good. By the way, I don't think it was named after J. Edgar Hoover.
No. But if
President Hoover.
But if you were her, that don't make no never mind.
Right. It's kind of like the two Roosevelts. I thought that they were I thought one was the son or grandson of the other. Actually, they're fifth cousins, which is basically not related.
No,
basically.
pretty much not.
But when you're fifth cousins, you're basically not related at all.
Okay, so Comey trying to give himself validity, the crowd clapping and praising Comey, Meghan McCain not liking this.
And you were transparent. I mean, if J. Edgar Hoover had a number of flaws, one of them was he wasn't a transparent person. It was all about secret files. I'm trying to tell a story that in a lot of places doesn't reflect well on me, that's open and honest.
So do you think the
He's saying that he's open and honest and he's transparent. Where do we hear this said over and over and over again? Who says those things over and over and over again? Did Donald Trump say that? Does Donald Trump say, I'm being open and transparent as possible? I'm trying to be open and honest and transparent. We're transparent. That's the Clintons. That is Hillary's mantra.
So you're talking about how when somebody says, well, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I'm going to be honest with you. Well, it's because you're not an honest person. You got to say it.
If you got to tell me that you're open and transparent, it's because you ain't.
Right. People who are open and honest and transparent don't even have to say it because they think it's the standard. It's like the default.
Right. It's for the same reason you don't say no, okay. Now, you just don't start a sentence out by saying, hey, I'm going to be honest with you.
I have that problem. And it's not, but I am honest,
Right.
but it's like,
nervous tick.
It's kind of like, you have certain phrases and words that you overuse because it's just your personality. I don't know where I got it from, but I do start a lot of sentences that way, and it's not because
You don't start a sentence, hey, I'm not racist, okay?
Right.
Just letting you know right now, I'm not a racist, but I got something I got to tell you.
Yeah, when you start a sentence off with, I'm not racist, but.
I'm not gay, man, but let me tell you something.
Oh, how about this one? Look, I don't mean to insult you, but...
Well, you're getting ready to. Because you're getting ready to insult me.
That's right. I don't mean to be insulting, but bam.
So I'm just trying to do something, Carrie, that's honest. And I'm transparent.
For once in my life.
It doesn't reflect well on me, that's open and honest.
So do you think the future of the FBI is transparency?
I think it has to be a huge part of the FBI because public confidence in the FBI is its bedrock. We have to show people our work when we can, as often as possible, so they have confidence in us.
Even if that means your second in command was fired for lying 4 times. So this is where I think the confusion comes from. Your second in command, McCabe, was fired for lying multiple times within the FBI. You defended his character on Twitter. That's okay.
That's okay, lying. And James Comey still defending his character and who he is. And she is wiping the floor up with this buffoon. Just literally up and down. Because everything she's saying is true.
Is okay internally.
No, it's definitely not. In fact, the McCabe case illustrates what an organization that's committed to the truth looks like. We investigate and hold. I ordered that investigation. We investigate and hold people accountable. Good people lie. I lay.
Uh-oh.
He did. Carrie.
Well, if your wife says, I'm not just saying in general, a wife says to their husband, does this dress make me look fat?
No, man, it ain't the dress.
Oh, wow.
It's them shoes.
Oh, okay. The shoes? No.
No.
Oh. Good people lie.
Hold on. That's not a lie.
That's like a white lie.
No, you have to describe what fat is. What's the level? Your level of fat may be different than my level.
But what if you say no, but you're just saying it because that's the only thing you can say?
Oh, under duress?
What if she weighs 400 pounds and you prefer skinny people?
I would have to tell her. I can't go down that road.
So you would say, yes, it makes you look fat?
You ask me that one more time.
Oh, wow. Oh, if you've got to ask.
You know, when he says good people lie.
Wow, there goes all of our female followers.
When he says good people lie, I've got a huge problem with that.
No, I agree with you. I remember
You
thinking
don't-
the same thing.
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing that, ooh, why would you say that?
In the book, I think I'm a good person where I've lied. I still believe Andrew McCabe is a good person, but the Inspector General found that he lied, and there's severe consequences in the Justice Department for lying, as there should be throughout the government.
Listen to what he said. Hold on, listen to what he said again. Listen to what he said again.
We investigate and hold. I ordered that investigation. We investigate and hold people accountable. Good people lie. I lay out in the book, I think I'm a good person where I've lied. I still believe Andrew McCabe is a good person, but the Inspector General found that he lied, and there's severe consequences in the Justice Department for lying, as there should be throughout the government.
Did he just not say he lied and there's severe consequences for lying? Did he just not say, I lied and there are severe consequences for people who lie?
In the
Justice Department.
Yeah. And he pretty much told on himself and said how he should be handled.
With severe punishment and consequences.
Interesting. Very interesting.
I mean, am I missing something here? I mean, do you see what I just...
Yeah, no, I mean...
how does this not shut Comey down completely?
Well, it will. I think there's a lot of things in the book, things that he said, it's all closing in. He's painted himself into this corner. The walls are coming in.
This was the worst interview ever on The View. In my
You mean best or worse? Or you mean worse for him?
Yeah. On his book tour. Folks, one of our friends.
Laura Loomer?
She Go ahead. Did you see it? I didn't like it either. It's okay.
No, it was good. She got massive praise by Rush Limbaugh.
Good for her.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for Rush to praise me.
But you haven't jumped up and excoriated James Comey on his book tour while their cameras were rolling.
That's a rough one, man.
Yeah, so here's the thing that makes...
If you were with me and you prodded me and said, yeah, it's okay to do it.
Yeah.
Because, folks, a lot of times I come up with cockamamie things to do. And if Carrie's with me, I'll look at him and I'll say...
some vodka involved right there.
And I say,
Come on, man, go.
And I say, hey, man, what do you think? And if Carrie looks right at me and says, no, go. I mean, okay, I'm just joking, man. It was just joking.
See, now, if you were in your 20s, that probably would have egged you on.
I wouldn't have asked you in my 20s.
Well, if you did ask me and I said, no, that would have been like,
I would have been like, oh, it's on.
It's time to make this happen. Right.
So nowadays, I know when Carrie says, ooh.
I described Brian in his 20s one time. I don't know who I was talking to. I may have been talking to Brian about Brian in his 20s.
Because I had some milk on my amnesia.
And you know the cartoons, you've seen these cartoons where, like Tom and Jerry's a perfect one, where he's got the devil on the one side, the devil's on his shoulder and telling him to do something bad. And on the other shoulder, you got the angel. And the angel's like, no, you got to be a good person and don't do that. So with Brian in his early 20s, he would look over on one side, and the devil was trying to say something bad in his ear, and he's looking at the devil, and so he looks over the other shoulder, and it's another devil.
And I'm like, damn it, man!
It's another devil.
Can I get a different opinion here?
So that was my description of Brian in his 20s. But you know what?
It's hysterical.
He's flicked them both off, and whatever. He's good to go now.
Yeah. Anywho, now that I'm going to start being honest with you guys,
Brian's going to be honest now. Brian never. That's the thing about Brian in his 20s. I don't remember him being. He never lied. That was the thing. He told the truth.
Honest to the truth.
Yeah.
I was honest to the T.
Right. It was just some of the things that he decided was going to be fun.
Yeah, it's always fun. It's always fun.
Not dishonest. It's all about this is what fun is.
I guess.
And authorities didn't like what his idea of fun was.
Most of the time, not. Most of the time.
Anyway,
we steer this thing right out of the bridge a butt.
No, I like it. It's funny.
I know you like it.
But it was good times. Good times.
So Trump tweeted out, said, secret Comey docs show no collusion or obstruction. Dems vow to fight. Comey detailing his conversation with President Trump would be, quote, would be Defense Exhibit A if Trump were charged with obstruction of justice. That's what came out this week. So Trump tweeted that. I did two sentences all in one. Trump tweeted out, secret Comey docs show no collusion or obstruction. Dems vow to fight on. Here's the thing. The Exhibit A would be Comey's memo. In Comey's memos, it says that Trump wanted me to find the end of the collusion and just find the answer, get done with it, get to the bottom of this and make it happen.
Right.
Well, then there was no collusion, or there was no obstruction of justice.
Right.
How can Trump obstruct when Trump tells Comey to go do this?
He was encouraging him to definitely go after anybody that might be colluding or whatnot. So
right. And so Trump tweets out again, Flynn's life destroyed while Comey allowed to leak and lie.
Yeah, the weird thing about this whole Russian collusion thing is that I'm not really sure if there's even a law that prohibits whatever it is that they're accusing of. It's like they're trying to protect democracy by deciding on their own without any laws, nothing written down, that if one were to, I don't know, work with a foreign entity that was doing things that would be illegal, and let's say that Russia hacked into a server of his opposition, which would be the DNC, and somehow presented this to Trump and said, hey, look, we got everything from the DNC. You could use this to help you. And Trump were to say, oh, hell, I'll take it, and then use it in that kind of collusion. That exact act, I'm not really 100% sure if there's even laws against. So, I'm not really sure what it is that they're trying to do other than to say that if something like this were to happen, we believe that this will be a threat to democracy. So we're going to just decide to enforce laws that don't exist because of the spirit of democracy. It would be under attack if something like this were to happen. So the whole thing is just totally convoluted. It's political because it's basically they're presenting this to the public and saying, you see, Brian, don't you agree that this would be an attack on our democracy? And then Brian Q. Public over here.
Oh, you telling me he worked with Russia?
With a foreign entity.
To overthrow the election?
Well, to help.
To hack the, to help you in the, that's not cool at all, man.
And so the court of public opinion has decided, has ruled that this is something that should not happen.
But as an informed public individual, I would ask the follow-up question.
Which is?
Well, China helped you.
Well, actually, Russia, the very government that they're accusing of collusion with Trump is...
There's the irony.
Yeah, that they actually colluded with Russia, with China. With the big one is UK.
Right.
Do people not know that England or the United Kingdom or Great Britain, whatever they're calling them this year...
Yeah, whatever it is. They hate us for saying that. You know they do.
They are a foreign country.
Yeah.
So you can't just willy-nilly accuse Trump of getting help from a foreign entity called Russia and saying that that is a threat to democracy. But you can go ahead and have all kinds of agents, secret agents that work, that are employed by Great Britain, which is a foreign country, to help you to destroy your opposition with these dossiers and say, oh, but we're not colluding with any foreign entity to help us with our, you can't do that. Now, I know what the argument is. Well, Russia's supposed to be our enemy. Are they?
This is, and you were talking about to me earlier this week about this, and Russia is 100% correct. The Democrats have absolutely destroyed any possible relationship building with Russia that Trump could do at this point in time. They have set us back so far.
Yeah, they've made the Democrat Party has made Russia our arch enemy.
Once again, we're going back to the Cold War.
Yeah, because a lot of people may not be old enough to remember this. I am. But before the wall fell and then the Soviet Union collapsed, we were mortal enemies with the Soviet Union. And when they collapsed, it was understood, with people climbing over the walls. You got East Germans hugging
we
West
welcomed
Germans.
them in with open arms. Come on, enjoy the freedom. Freedom for everybody.
And as far as we could tell, yay, we're not arch enemies with Russia anymore, or as we called them, the Soviets. So when did that change? It's like they're trying to rehash the Cold War or something.
Well, inadvertently or I don't know if they did it on purpose, not on purpose, but what they've done is they've absolutely destroyed anything that we could have had with the Russians at this point in time.
Right. And even Sean Hannity today on his show, I believe on Friday, was talking about how, look, Putin, a really bad person. He's one of the worst persons. He's evil. He's terrible. He's going on and on, this laundry list of verbs or adjectives to describe Putin, all negative, highly negative. Like he might have been sounded like he was describing something like Hitler or something like that. And I'm like, okay, when did this start? So even Sean Hannity is talking about how bad Putin is. I'm like, I don't know. You got this Crimea thing, Ukraine thing, all this stuff. I don't know what's happening with all that stuff.
I work with a woman that is from the Ukraine. She has family in the Ukraine, and she speaks like the Russian, like Drago. I kill you.
Okay.
So
I must break you.
I must break you. So she's fresh off. She just came over here just a few years ago, and she goes back and visits her family in the Ukraine. And I asked her, I made the mistake.
Okay.
And I asked her, I said, hey, hear you're from the Ukraine. Who asked?
Oh, God. Wait, it was a female?
Yeah, it's a woman.
Who asked?
She's a kickboxing expert as well.
She's 9 foot tall.
She's something else. Anyways,
she's 300 pounds, no body fat.
None, zero, solid meat. And she, who asked? I said, well, that's what I heard. I was wondering, I'm into politics and stuff. And what do you think of Putin? Why? I said, well, I'm just curious of what you think of him. No good. No good.
So the Ukrainians don't like him.
No, she absolutely hates him. She says that they're on the brink of war at any moment, at any given time. He's intimidating, putting troops on the line, just really menacing.
So there's a lot of that stuff happening. I don't know. I've never heard a very good argument other than what appears to be a pure propaganda piece on, I believe it's a Discovery Channel, had an entire, this is like less than a year. It was just a couple months ago. They had a brand new documentary about Putin, and it was so one-sidedly against him. I couldn't help but to note. And there were some falsehoods in it too. And I was like, look, if I see one thing in this documentary that I know has been proven false, this whole thing is propaganda as far as I'm concerned. Even if the rest of it's actually true, I'm not going to believe it when you got one false thing in it. Had several things that I knew for a fact were false, and I was just like, this is just propaganda. But anyway, I don't know. I don't hear about death camps, gulags, and all that.
That's North Korea. Yeah, North Korea.
So I just remember what it meant to be a communist country in Russia, which was the Soviet Union, where if you don't believe in what their the belief system of the communists are, that you end up getting sent to Siberia in a worker camp, and where most people died under communist different rulers over the years since 1917 when they had the revolution. Millions and millions and millions and millions of people were murdered by the regimes over the years, and it's like, I just can't help but to not take seriously people calling him evil, considering Russia's past.
This by Wikipedia. Russians are happier, healthier, and more optimistic than ever in their lives. And contrary to what you might hear, surveys show that the Russian people are as pro-American, if not more so, than the populations of many of the European countries, and most hope for closer relations with the United States under Putin.
Wow, that's a huge threat to the Democrat Party. So, I don't know. And you know what? The person you talked to from the Ukraine might actually be a victim of propaganda. Maybe it's been told to her that that Putin's an evil person. I don't know.
Well, the Australian.com.au, Russia's youth see life as better under Putin. Are Russians getting tired of Putin? Yet, by all accounts, Putin is massively popular amongst the ordinary Russians.
Yeah, if you just think about what makes him evil, what are you guys talking about when you talk about how bad of a person he is? Is it because he used to be in the KGB? And there's a lot of people that make the argument that, hey, once you're in the KGB, that's it. It's the KGB. All of his KGB buddies, they're all in charge of his cabinet positions and whatnot, whatever the Russian equivalent to the cabinet is in his regime. The fact that he's pretty much ended democracy by making himself the leader for life, that's problematic.
Right.
But if he's popular, it's like, I don't know, Kim Jong-un is popular amongst his subjects.
Yeah, well, if you're unhappy with him, you'll die.
Well, is that the case with Russia? I have not heard about people being mass murdered by Putin like you've heard from Nikita Khrushchev, Stalin, with the death camps, and you have to agree with the regime or you go to prison camp and all this kind of stuff. So I'm not so quick to buy into the negative press about Putin.
Okay, I'm there with you.
Makes me a Russian bot, but whatever.
Okay, I'm there with you. So we're wrapping this up. This is about Comey. On 4 separate occasions, ex-FBI Director Comey vouched to President Trump for the alleged integrity and professionalism of former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, according to Comey's newly released personal memos. So Comey vouched for McCabe. McCabe lied. Comey lied. We've got something. It's regular with these two that they're always lying, that there's always lying.
They're proven liars.
House Minority Leader Nancy, I've lost my ever-loving mind, Pelosi responded saying the memos showed that Trump's contempt for rule of law. That's why she's lost her mind. I don't know where that's...
You love to quote her.
How could you say that with a straight mind? Not a straight face.
Memos showed Trump's contempt for the rule of law. She needs to expand on that. If I was near her when she said that, I'd say, Speaker Pelosi, can you tell me what the hell you're talking about? Like, I mean, you can't just make statements like that and not back it up with a little bit of facts.
Right.
So anyway.
So DOJ sends criminal referral for McCabe to federal prosecutors. Andrew McCabe lied to his FBI superiors not once, not twice, not 3 times. He lied 4 times, multiple times under oath.
Right.
So that's what's coming up now. And this is Maria Bartoromo talking with Nunez.
Again.
And this is where they talk about Andrew McCabe and Comey and the lying and the investigation. There's a little other piece. It's 3 minutes long, but it's really good stuff, folks. Okay, so this is more of the interview from before.
Well, what kind of problems? I mean, we know that the IG has recommended criminal charges against his former deputy, Andrew McCabe. Where does that go? What does that mean, criminal charges? Where do you see that going? And is that the same fate that we will see for Jim Comey?
Well, it's hard to say right now, but we know that. So Mr. McCabe has been recommended that he face criminal charges. Now his lawyer, and he has a right to his lawyer. His lawyer has said no, this is not true. What the IG, Mr. Comey, is lying. Essentially, is what Mr. McCabe is saying, that Comey did give him the right to go talk to the press. So this all has to be fleshed out. Clearly, the IG. Doesn't believe, the IG believed Mr. Comey, that Comey did not give Mr. McCabe the ability to go talk to the press. Now, as it relates to Mr. Comey, you've got the added problem now that the memos that he wrote, the 7 memos that he decided to write on President Trump, never wrote memos on any of the other meetings he had with the other president or the AG or anyone else prior to this, but he kept 7 memos. 4 of those were classified. He decided to launder them to a friend who then leaked them to the New York Times. If those memos contain classified information, He purposely did that. He purposely leaked them in order to get a special counsel started after he was fired. He leaked pieces of these, so we need to figure out exactly what is it that he leaked. Who did he give these memos to? And was it just the friend that leaked them to the New York Times, or were there others? I believe there were others. I think that these Comey memos were actually given to several people. It contained classified information. The irony is the very thing that Mr. Comey cleared Mrs. Clinton of.
Is that not irony?
Well, I mean, hopefully something comes of it. But yeah, so we know that the stuff that was leaked to the New York Times had the classified information on it.
Correct.
Even though he kind of backtracks a little bit by saying that we need to find out exactly what was sent to them or leaked to them, so that I guess he could verify that exactly what was sent to them did in fact have the classified information on it. The memos, 4 of them of the 7, were classified. So if any of those 4 were sent, did they include redacted stuff? So I think that's what he's going to try to find out. Did they redact the classified portions of the memos that he leaked to the New York Times? If he didn't, he's a blithering idiot.
As far as we know, he hasn't.
Right. We have no evidence that shows that he did. So I guess you can, in this case, assume that he did not.
Right.
Unless he can prove that he did. You can't just have classified documents show up at the doorstep of a New York Times reporter and just say, well, since you don't have proof that I gave them unredacted, you have to assume innocence until proven guilty. No, that's not going to work.
Not in this case.
That's
not when you're
not
talking
gonna
about classified information. No,
that's not going to work. So hopefully this ends up being the very thing that gets him thrown in. Don't drop your soap.
Don't drop your soap, Comey.
Real quick, we're going to take a break right here, but with all of what you're saying, whether it's no official intelligence, the president pushing to find out the truth, no obstruction of justice, are these reasons to shut down this Robert Mueller special counsel probe?
Well, look, I in the beginning, I actually supported special counsel because I thought, okay, Mr. Mueller will come in, longtime FBI guy. He will quickly see that there's no evidence of collusion, which there was, because we had not seen any. Just like I said, we've not seen any intelligence product that shows that there was any collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russians.
Right.
But that he would quickly go after the felony that occurred when General Flynn was talking to the Russian ambassador, and all of that information was leaked out, which is a major felony at the highest level. So I thought, great, we'll have a special counsel. They'll close those leaks. We'll figure out who that was. Well, that never happened. It appears like this was clearly what started as a counterintelligence investigation into the Trump campaign. They drilled a bunch of dry holes, never found any collusion. They moved to obstruction. They've got a special counsel, and now God knows where this is going to go. But I think the American people are getting sick and tired of it.
Well, they did manage to raid Michael Cohen's office and home and hotel room, let's not forget.
Yeah, it's like, well, we didn't find enough information, so I guess we got to start raiding people. I mean, we've already violated the Fourth Amendment to the fullest possible ability. Let's go ahead and throw the Sixth Amendment out the window, too.
Well, ain't nobody stopping us either. Just like under Obama, ain't nobody stopping them.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this the other day, and I want to rehash it real quick just to remind everybody, never again. The president's, the only thing that is a check on the president's actions is the threat of impeachment. And never forget, Speaker of the House John Boehner, announced to the world.
Is it Boehner?
That's how we pronounce it.
Oh, I thought it was Boner.
You could say Boner.
Down in Brazil. Down in Brazil.
Yeah, you could say whatever you want. So John Boehner said, nope, impeachment is off the table. Basically what he's saying, if you know how the American government works, he's basically saying that you have a blank check to do whatever the hell you want, no matter what, because the only check we have to make sure that you are not doing all this crazy illegal stuff, we've taken that off the table, so have at it. And guess what? We're finding out little piece by piece, years after he's left office.
Oh, he did? Yeah.
Oh, he did it all. He went. I mean, at some point, somebody probably realized, gosh, if impeachment's off the table, I guess let's just have at it. And, I was talking to somebody the other day, and I said, I was in the military. Brian was in the military. We worked for the government in the military. We know how this stuff works. And I even worked, when I was working at General Electric as a civilian, there were portions of that place that built classified engines for secret aircraft, whatnot, and you weren't even allowed in those areas. They also had engineering areas where engineers would work to design these kind of secret aircraft engines. And all this stuff, they had special access to these areas, and you couldn't go into them, and all this stuff is locked up. We know that there are certain things that if you do, you will go to prison. And you wouldn't want to risk your freedom, and you wouldn't want to risk your career. Let's say, I want to work for the government. If you're a government worker, you've been working for 15, 16, 17 years, this is your career. You don't want to throw it all out the window by putting it at risk.
No.
So the question is, how do these people who've clearly made a career out of government work risk it all? Why? How could this happen? Mind-blowing. And I'll tell you why. The culture was set.
Yeah.
When Obama got in there and said, "Hey, you could do whatever you want. I can do whatever I want, but you're going to do it on my behalf. You don't have anything to worry about." After a while, it gets to the point where it just gets ingrained in your head that this is how business is done. When you're in positions of power, the law doesn't apply to you, and you become you get to the point where you believe it because of the culture that was set by Barack Obama. Well, guess what? He goes, the new administration comes in, all these Obama holdovers, they are living under a certain culture that hasn't changed for them.
Well, right. They're still acting like this is our culture. Trump and Trump's team comes in. No, man. What do you...
When they decide,
serious?
When
you
they
can't play this game,
right? When they decide, hey, Trump is here, Trump is the new president, and we're not going to stand for this. When they start to wonder whether or not illegal activity on their behalf is on the table, it's a no-brainer for them,
right?
So Brian and I, this is foreign to us. Could you imagine working for 16, 17, 18 years in the government? Here you are in Washington at the highest levels, and you're going to do things that will get you fired, lose any kind of future pension, for the rest of your life, bad marks, never work in government again, and probably spend significant time in prison. For us, we're like, are you nuts?
It wouldn't even cross my mind.
Unimaginable.
Yeah.
So that's why it was hard for me to wrap my head.
Unfathomable.
Yeah, well, it's hard for us to wrap our head around it until you stop and think, now what were the long road that they traveled down that led to them feeling like the right patriotic thing to do in their mind is to break all kinds of laws to hurt the Trump administration.
Right.
That's what happened. They were a part of a culture of lawlessness that by the time Trump came along, it really wasn't that tough of a transition for them to continue to break the law. See, I was looking at it as that they were deciding, you know what? We're going to have to get serious. We're going to have to start taking risks. We're going to have to start doing something that you would never fathom doing in your entire career, and that is risk our freedom, risk our entire career by beginning to break the law. No, they've been breaking it all this time.
Right.
They've been breaking the law, and
it didn't just show up one day and say, "Oh."
Right. And that's why I believe happened. That's why I believe this craziness that went on, that's going on under the Trump administration with the Obama holdovers is explainable.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. So Rand Paul this week asked, "Do FBI agents Peter Strzok and Lisa Page still have security clearances?"
I don't even know how they still have jobs.
Yeah, they're still employed.
I don't even know how they're not currently in prison. How long did it take for that guy in the submarine who took a couple pictures and gave them to his family to brag?
I think it was a couple years.
Oh, was it years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because to me, it felt like he took some pictures, and that night he was in handcuffs.
Well, he took the pictures, and then it took a while for his case to come up. And his case, ironically, was being talked about during the time that Hillary Clinton said, I didn't know.
Right.
I didn't know nothing. So he decided to go ahead and plead the Hillary case.
Oh, that's right.
And the judge didn't like that. He didn't think that was funny.
Well, because he's probably paid for by Democrats.
Of course. Of course. So,
subsequently pardoned. Was he pardoned or commuted? Whatever it was. Trump decided, you know what, this is BS. Trump.
I think it was.
Trump did
I'm going to
something.
say a pardon.
Okay.
So emails received, Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, emails show that Obama White House statements on Clinton probe worried FBI Peter Strzok. Peter Strzok, this is his email. He shows, below is not helpful, Strzok wrote to top FBI agent Bill Pretap, and colleague of Robert Jones, on January 30th, 2016. So this is right 2016, right as the other judge said that Ted Cruz was legally allowed to run. That was in January 2016, and also the run up for the primaries. And so Peter Strzok is saying that below is not helpful, and from his FBI Washington field office, quote, certainly the White House is going to do whatever it wants, but there is a line they need to hold with regard to the appearance of non-interference.
Can you translate that for me?
Okay. So he's saying, whoa. The White House, Obama, they're doing whatever they want to do. They're getting away with all of it, especially when it comes to Hillary Clinton and her email scandal. They're saying things they shouldn't be saying. They're going a little too far with...
Whoa. Sorry about that.
They're going a little bit too far with the appearance that they're interfering. So you got to hold the line. You're looking like you're interfering right now, Obama.
And they don't want to do that.
Yeah, you don't want to do it. Like when Obama came out and he called Hillary Clinton innocent before the thing was even... You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
He came out in an interview and said, oh, there ain't no, she didn't do nothing wrong. I don't know why we even having this thing.
Law doesn't apply to us.
Law? Ain't no law here, law dog. Kansas City law dog. Ain't no law here. So Peter Strzok is clearly saying that you guys need to tell Obama to distance himself from this, to make it look like you're not interfering, because we, the FBI, we got this, dog. We got this. You stay back. Don't look like you're involved.
And we'll take it from here.
And
that's when all this stuff that you've been hearing about for all this time has finally come to light. You're finally finding out about it, but that's what they did. Wow.
Yeah. And so now you got on Friday, the DNC filed a multi-million-dollar lawsuit against Donald Trump's campaign. Did you hear about this?
Mm-mm.
This is a different lawsuit.
Yeah, I knew about that.
Yeah, this is a different lawsuit than the knucklehead McCabe. This is different. Another one.
This is the one where they filed it against a bunch of people. They call it a massive lawsuit. It's Roger Stone is getting sued. They threw him in there too.
Are they wrapping up InfoWars at all? Getting any?
Who knows? Who knows? Well, Roger Stone goes around and brags about how Donald Trump calls him periodically, like regularly, for advice.
He so needs to get a dog or something.
It could be true. I don't know, but he says it, and Trump doesn't say it, but he probably can't say it. But Trump did not deny that. So.
Oh, all right. So the lawsuit is against the Russian government, WikiLeaks, and the entire Donald Trump campaign.
That's pretty massive.
Because all three of them colluded together to steal Hillary Clinton's emails, the 33,000 that are missing. No, I don't know. I didn't know. It was jokes. They didn't say that, but who knows where... all the emails that WikiLeaks got, we know came from Seth Rich. WikiLeaks said that. Russia hadn't had nothing to do with any of those emails. And again, we say here on the show, if Russia had hacked Hillary's emails, they would not have given them up freely for anybody.
Yeah, that's Russia.
get held at
Everything
ransom.
Everything you need to know about Russia was in our December 11th episode from 2016. 2016.
Wow, we're coming up on a 2-year anniversary of Russia.
Well, coming up on December 11th.
It feels like
it's been about a year and a half.
Feels like winter's here.
So we were dead on accurate on it then, and you can go back and reference it. What we believe is that Russia hacked it because Russia hacks everything that they can. But what we see in WikiLeaks was not from Russia. We believe that it was independently obtained from an insider, possibly Seth Rich, if not Seth Rich, somebody like Seth Rich, who would have given it over to Julian Assange. There's a lot of witnesses that say that it was Seth Rich and that it had gone through, Kim.com or somebody like that.
Kim.com said he was involved as well.
Yeah, and that there was an intermediate person who took it to Julian Assange, and then he procured it and whatever, and then published it. And so that makes the most sense because we know that Russia would not give it to WikiLeaks. They're going to keep it for themselves. They don't want anybody to know what they have because it's showing your cards.
Right.
Why would they show their cards?
So check this out, folks. Just to wrap this up really, really quick. Why are they filing this lawsuit against Donald Trump, which is frivolous? It's meaningless. It's mindless. It's not going to do anything. Well, Russia, the Democrat Party, they've used similar tactics. During Watergate scandal in 1972, the DNC sued Richard Nixon and his reelection committee for $1 million in damages for the burglary at the Democrat headquarters in the Watergate building, and he did settle for $750,000. So this is the assault is from all fronts. They're trying to make it, if they can sink the putt in the hole with the Watergate scandal, that's their angle. They're trying to get him on a Nixon, and they're trying to get him on the Monica Lewinsky, and they're trying to get him on Russian collusion if that actually ever worked. See, it's all come full circle for them.
Right.
Any last words, Carrie?
No, I wanted to get into that wreck, that plane wreck, but we can talk about that another time since we're in the. It's okay. We got the good stuff in the Mueller investigation, guys. Next week, Sunday, 5 p.m. on Vimeo now. Vimeo.com/Smith Radio. We're going to try to blast that out on Twitter. We were doing the right to walk out this week, so the numbers are going to be down. But we're going to build our following on Vimeo.com/Smith Radio and see us here every week, Sunday, 5 p.m. See you guys.
With unfathomable power.
What kind of power?
Unfathomable. It's without fathom.